on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello. Hi. Hey, how are you? Welcome into Gwynn and Chris. Happy Monday to you. Always good to be kicking off a new week with you here on Gwynn and Chris. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan, 4 full hours. Coming your way today. And I always said that the only way I would talk NBA to lead off a show would be like if, say, 2 legit first-team all-star NBA players were traded for each other. And so that's what happened on Saturday night. We got to talk about the amazing Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade. I did send you a text, Tony, the second I found out about it. I was hoping I had a scoop for you. I probably didn't because you get a lot of alerts. But I sent one anyway because I would have loved it to see you pick up the phone and go, what?
I'll tell you, you got me, Chris. You
Did I
delivered
get
the
you?
news to me.
I got you, okay.
No,
But
you didn't.
You were probably aware.
I had already been going through, is this real? Like,
Right, yeah.
This is somebody got hacked. Like, there's no way this is actually happening.
Couldn't believe it myself. Yeah, I was on the bus coming back from our trip in Albuquerque, and one of the coaches mentioned it to me, and I didn't believe them either. I had to look it up on my phone to see.
He got that wrong.
Yeah, he got that wrong. He got that wrong. What does he know? But yeah, so we'll talk. We'll talk at length about one of the biggest trades in NBA history, if not the biggest, and what it all means. And of course, we got our resident Laker fan here to kick it around from a Laker point of view. The Aztecs basketball game Saturday night was one for the ages, and was almost one that would live forever in infamy, as Wyoming scored 8 free throws in 2 seconds to almost overcome an 11-point deficit with 10 seconds left in the game. I mean, you talk about something that's impossible to do, and they almost did it. We'll talk about that as well.
Real quick on that, the funny thing is I was out to dinner, so I was kind of like not being able
checking
to watch
the score a little bit.
I saw right before half we were down. That was so irritating, and then sat down for a little bit, got back up, and it was towards the end of the ball game, and we were up. And so I was like, all right, cool.
It was ball game over.
And then I got home and to hear that it almost went cattywampus.
You missed something that I don't think anyone of us will ever see again. But thankfully they hung on, so we got to talk about that game at length as well. But before we go into all of those things, obviously Saturday, everybody had a lot of fun. I take it out at the Fan Fest. Sorry I did not get to attend this year. I have still yet to attend a Fan Fest. I don't know why that is.
This year was
how did
for
it go,
me,
guys?
much more fun than 2 years ago, because 2 years ago there was just so many people.
Too many people 2
You
years
couldn't
ago.
move, you
It was
couldn't
insane
park,
2
you
years
couldn't do
ago.
anything
Yeah.
2 years ago. But this one, people were spread out. There was short
They had
lines for
2
most
sessions.
of things.
Remember, they had 2
Yes,
sessions. I think
yes.
that helped. They're not
Definitely.
Really? So they brought people in and then cleared the facility?
No, you didn't. If you had the first session, you didn't need to leave, but you couldn't. If you had the second session, you couldn't show up until 1 p.m.
Gotcha. Okay. So that helped clean
I think
open
it did.
things up a little bit.
I think it did.
But I heard that there were lines around the block well before they opened up Petco
Yes.
Park. So
Yes.
any notion, at least judging by that, any notion that the Padre fan base is completely, wiped their hands and, upset with the Padre organization for everything that's happened, I think you can kind of put that to rest.
There was what was the word you said during that? Padre fans seem very measured. What was it?
Measured's a good word normally.
Scraby used a specific word.
When? Today?
It was a saying? Yeah, yes, today, before the show started.
Oh, it was rational.
Rational.
Yes.
Rational.
Okay. Yes, there was more rational fans.
So you could tell that people aren't quite as giddy, perhaps, as they were a couple of years ago.
No, you couldn't tell. I mean,
you couldn't tell that. Okay.
What did you think, Scraby?
I thought everybody was very excited.
Yeah.
I thought people because all of this has happened when no one is in reach.
Right.
And so you're just seeing words on a wall, and you're not seeing the people behind those words. And now this is the first time you're actually getting to see these guys talk about it, see what they think about everything. And it put me into a good mood.
Put it this way, Chris. It was a completely different vibe than what
than people
had
expected.
been expressed and what people were expecting. Now, granted, that wasn't the however would fit that stadium, 55,000, 60,000 people, right? But it was a good chunk of people. And you saw, everything. You got to hear from Eric Grupner, AJ Preller, Mike Schiltz. You got to hear from the pitching staff.
Right.
And at least from my perspective and what I saw out there was a lot of excitement about this upcoming season.
So word of the Padres' demise in the eyes of the fans is greatly exaggerated.
I think
let's say what it is, because we all thought if they don't get Roki Sasaki, the sky's falling, and then there's been more stuff since then even.
Right.
But it is interesting what you think and then what you do when Manny Machado comes walking in and Fernando Tatis Jr. comes walking in, and Yu Darvish and Jake Cronenworth.
You hear from Joe Musgrove.
Yeah,
right?
all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. And we've been saying it, guys. They still have a lot of good players left. And I think everybody's kind of had forgotten about it until we actually saw them in the flesh.
Most of the people that I talked to were kind of in our boat. We can't really do anything, so we're just going to focus on what we can focus on, which is the team and all that. I for one, am very, very surprised. I did not see one shirt saying Team Shield or Team Seidler.
Not a
Seidler
negative.
Brothers. No,
I
didn't see.
There was none of that, man.
I'm surprised.
Surprised. At least from the time I was there, and I was there pretty much until it ended. It was
you were there longer than I was.
From 9 to 3, and so that was. I think you said it right. When you get in front of the guys, when you get in front of Manny, you get in front of Toddy, you get in front of Joe, and you start to hear them talk about the same thing that they experienced. They experienced everything that we were experiencing, right?
Because they did.
They had to sit back and kind of watch it too. And when you hear kind of their perspective, I think it does lend its way to some positive, hopeful feelings about the season. Now, ultimately, as we all know, it boils down to what happens actually on the field. Before this, it was just feelings. After this, it's just feelings until they roll that baseball out there and you start to be able to get some concrete evidence.
One thing I picked up from the players, Chris, was that these guys are looking to build upon what they built last year. Yes, they're missing a few guys like Jerks and Profar and some of the other ones that got away, but they said that last year's team was the closest team that they've ever played on.
Continuity was like the word of the day.
Unity.
Yeah, for sure. And
so anybody that comes here better be ready to be continuity minded.
They got to fit in.
They have to fit in.
It's not. It's one of those situations. And I thought listening to Joe was Manny. I thought listening to Manny was kind of gave you some of that perspective. And so, all in all, it was a good day.
I'm glad that it happened. I think that it seems to me that everybody was a little bit. I don't want to go with nervous, but a little bit. Just wondering what the reception would be.
Yeah.
Would people come into the stadium and be upset? Would they be maybe not show up at all? And it sounds like, bygones are bygones for now. The fact of the matter is this Padre team was as good as it's ever been last year, but it is without basically, and I'm just going off the top of my head here, but basically without 6 key guys. And that's a lot to try to replace. I mean, you don't have your starting catcher, right? You don't have your starting left fielder. You don't have Joe Musgrove. You don't have Tanner Scott. And you don't have your top, basically your pinch hit guy, or Hassan Kim. Sorry, I don't want to leave him out. And you don't have your top pinch hit guy in Donovan Solano. It's a lot to replace. And the Padres really haven't gone about trying to replace that yet. But there's still some time for that to happen. But even without all of that, I think everybody realized that there's still a bunch of guys still here.
And then on top of that, you learn some of the kind of details of the King deal and how it loosens up some money there for AJ to kind of do his maneuver. And then I thought the best part was actually hearing AJ speak on it. Him acknowledge that there's still work to be done in terms of what this roster looks like. He specifically said, we need to go out and get another bat. We need to get another arm. I mean, he specifically, and it only confirmed what you and I and Scraby have been talking about, is that my guy is on it. He knows as much as anybody exactly what this team needs, and him acknowledging it to me is just further confirmation that something will eventually get done. In terms of now what that is, I don't know.
But there's no way in the world that the 40-man roster as it sits right now is going to be the same a month and a half from now. It's just not even possible.
Yeah. Jesse Agler put out his newsletter last week, which I need to see Jesse's numbers, Tony, because I think I've mentioned this newsletter a million times. But he put.
You think you're driving the numbers up a little bit?
No, I'm thinking that his content is driving the numbers, but I have mentioned it. I think people are getting tired of hearing me talk about his newsletter. But what he said in the newsletter was actually eye-opening to me. At the end of last year, there were 12 guys on the team that were not on the 40-man roster when they entered spring training. That's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And that shows you how much turnover and working that they did throughout the spring training. And
the starting center fielder on my roster last year at this time was
Jose
Azokar. And my starting left fielder was a question. I don't even know that I had it filled in. I mean, I assumed they were going to just stick Jackson Merrill out there in left field. But Azokar was going to definitely be in center. I mean, that's not how that turned out.
Yep.
Profar was nowhere to be found at that time. So we can hope. All right, we're underway for a Monday. We do have a lot to get to today. We'll kind of kick around the schedule of today's activities when we come back, but we will hear the guys' interviews with Dylan Cease and Joe Musgrove at FanFest a little later in the program. Plenty coming your way for a Monday. Gwynn and Chris getting started on 97.3 The Fan.
Ecom Bakadaku on the same team, Robin Morg on the same team. Ecom and Morg are fighting on the left side. And now Morg is down to 1 stock, Ecom down to 1 stock. Bakadaku has 3 stocks. But Farrell needs to win this one to stay alive. Econ and Robin on the left. Morgan Bakadaku on the right. Morgan Ecom only have 1 stock. Bakadaku, Robin have 2 stocks. Now Robin the only one with 2 stocks. Everybody else with 1. Kearney took the first game. And now it's 2-on-1. Actually, Morg is back, so now it's back to full strength on each side. Everybody has 1 stock at this point. Robin looks to be out. Ecom and Bakadaku against Morg. O'Farrell needs this. Morg hanging on. Bakadaku, Ecom both with 1 life. Morg. And there you go. O'Farrell ties it up. Now we go into the 3rd and final game.
3, 2, 1, go!
It's this. Each team, O'Farrell and Kearney, have won a game so far in the championship round. Loser comes in second. Winner wins it all. Bakadaku and Robin on the left. Morg and Ecom on the right. Both floating. Ecom goes down. Everybody with 3 stocks except for Ecom, who has 2 stocks. Now Robin down to 2 stocks. Ecom and Bakadaku trying to get back on the stage. Bakadaku does. Ecom does. Again, this is the 3rd game of the championship round. Morg has 3 stocks. Everybody else has 2. Stephanie says, let's go. Robin and Bakadaku are battling on the left. Everybody with 2 stocks now. Even as it can get in the 3rd game of the final match, final round. Now Ecom down to 1 stock. Everybody else has 2. Robin and Ecom on the left, Bakadaku and Morg on the right, but now Ecom and Bakadaku trying to team up. Robin now with 1 stock, Ecom 1 stock. Everybody else with 2. Bakadaku and Morg 2. Ecom no stocks. But we'll be back. Bakadaku and Ecom down to their last stock. Morg and Robin have control right now. Ecom and Bakadaku O'Farrell. Morgan Robin from Kearney. And that's it. Kearney High School takes it in 3 games. So let me just figure this out just to make sure I have everything. But I believe the tournament is now over, and Kearney High School has won it all. O'Farrell has come in second, and E3 Civic High School takes home 3rd place. So thanks to everybody for watching on the stream. Ecom, Bakadaku on the same team, Robin, Morg on the same team. Ecom and Morg fighting on the left side. And now Morg is down to 1 stock, Ecom down to 1 stock. Bakadaku has 3 stocks. O'Farrell needs to win this one to stay alive. Econ and Robin on the left. Morgan Bakadaku on the right. Morgan and Ecom only have 1 stock. Bakadaku, Robin have 2 stocks. Now Robin, the only one with 2 stocks. Everybody else with 1. Kearney took the first game. And now it's 2-on-1. Actually, Morg is back, so now it's back to full strength on each side. Everybody has 1 stock at this point. Robin looks to be out. Ecom and Bakadaku.
2:17 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Scraby. Gwynn and Chris talking Padre baseball. Some new news that came out. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's get to the breaking news, I guess. Broke a little while ago, but Jesse, according to the Jesse Rogers tweet, Jesse Rogers, ESPN, breaking per MLB umpire Pat Hoberg has been fired for sharing betting accounts with a friend who bet on baseball, though there is no evidence Hoberg himself bet on games or manipulated any that he worked. He also deleted, this was the kicker, he also deleted messages central to MLB investigations. So that already puts up a bunch of red flags.
They've been looking into it. He knew it, and he tried to run from it. And they got him.
It's something that my partner Crisello brought up from the very first time the first state started clearing this, right? As we started seeing the dominoes fall.
I know. It worries
Chris
you.
Ello has been on this from the very beginning.
It worries you. I mean, one umpire, he doesn't have to do much. Change.
Apparently, his buddy was also like a big-time poker player. I don't know big time, but he was a poker player.
I mean, you don't need to throw a game anymore, Tony. All you need to do is throw in at bat. I mean, you can bet money that a guy reaches base, right? I mean, you can make all kinds of. I mean,
those are harder to make, but you have to have people on the
saying.
outside to do it for you.
But he doesn't have to make the bet. All he has to do is tell his friend that I'm going to let so and so get on base their 3rd at bat today. That's all you need to know. I mean, call a couple of pitches, guys on base with a walk, you cash in. This is why these leagues got it. I mean, they're going to keep doing it. I know they're not going to stop.
And by the way,
it's going to get more and more and more.
Pat Hoberg wasn't like a rinky-dink up. This cat had a perfect scorecard in the 2 World Series 2 years ago.
He was the only guy ever to do it, wasn't he?
Until last year. I think we had a couple do it last year, but he was the first one.
I remember that.
This isn't a guy that, was just the back of the line umpire. This was one of the premier guys there for a little bit.
This wasn't Angel Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez.
There we go.
Poor Angel catching strays. This man ain't even.
Poor Angel. He's been out of the league for 3 years now, and he's still.
But listen, I don't miss on the fact that this is the first umpire, right? It wasn't that long ago that we had our first football guys happen, and then that has trickled into a couple of years since.
Our basketball guy.
Then we got
Luckily, Tim Donaghy is still the only one we know of.
But speaking of this, Terry Rozier, I actually saw the clip. They're going to have a hard time proving that one. He goes up for a jumper. He immediately comes down. He's like hobbled.
And he goes out of the game, yeah.
And he stays in the game, and you can see him kind of like not being able to get around. And so we'll see how that one goes.
Ooh, my leg. Oh, man, my leg really hurts. I need
that's
to win this
another
bet.
one.
My leg really hurts.
That's another one that's going to be
Well, it wasn't
difficult.
that so much. It was the betting that was made on that particular game that got everybody's attention.
Now, I find it, excuse me, I find it very hard to believe that an umpire at the major league level is just handing his gambling credentials out to a friend. I find that.
Have you met people in the world?
Yeah,
there's a lot of dumb people.
None
out
of
there.
my.
Do we understand?
Why do I keep calling him Fred Hoiberg?
I don't know why you keep going.
His name is
he's
Pat
not a basketball
Hoiberg.
coach. No.
Do we understand how most criminals get caught? Because they're dumb. That's pretty much how we catch most of them.
But he's a major league baseball umpire working World Series games. And he doesn't think this is a bad idea?
So was my man Porter, who was suspended for lifetime in NBA because he thought no one will ever catch the fact that I'm fluctuating so drastically in my points scored or anything like that. He's in the actual NBA, playing in games.
But he didn't give someone his account information to make bets
either
under
way,
his account name.
It's all in the dumb category. Whether it's...
I mean, Shohei Ohtani let his spokesperson bet for him.
This guy start.
Come on, Trick. Shohei Ohtani was more than happy to share his money with his interpreter.
What did you think, Chris, when the feds announced that Ipe didn't seem to have a
I'm
gambling
over that
addiction?
whole thing. I'm past that. I'm just
I think
getting
this
you
is
annoyed.
connected.
Time
And
to
I'm
move
not saying
on.
it's connected in like that they're actually connected.
What other connections could
We're
you be
going
connected
to find more
then?
of this in baseball. This is I can't
What,
believe that
people
these are
gambling?
These are the only two
Yes.
guys.
Why is
gambling
it
in
just baseball? We're going to find it in all sports. It's going to continue, and eventually, hopefully not, but eventually it's going to get to a crisis point, and hopefully somebody will say, you know what? The money's all nice, but we got to get out of business with DraftKings and FanDuel and BetMGM and BetESPN. This stuff's going to have to go. That stuff won't go away, but the sports have got to go away from it.
It's the singular thing that could end sports.
That's right. We've talked about it 100 times.
So we'll see how that one shakes out. Now back to the Padres.
Yes.
Got
a new shortstop.
We do.
New old shortstop.
New old shortstop. Sounds like Xander Bogaerts will be moving back to his shortstop position. Jake Cronenworth will be moving back to his natural second base position.
I'm going to miss Jake playing first base so far over that he's kind of at second base anyway. Right? I've never seen a first baseman play that far off the bag, and he did. He took
that's
about
right.
1,000
He was
hits
doing
away.
that because he had to rain. I will say this for Jake, and listen, he's the ultimate. He has proven to be the ultimate continuity guy, right?
Yeah, right.
He has moved from second. He's moved back to first. He moved to first. Moved back to second now. And remember, he came in the spring last year a little bit heavier. He said he was for the move to first base. So now he's going to have to make that change. I saw him the other day. Looks fantastic in shape. But he'll be moving back to that position. So that opens up first base.
Right now it's Luis Arraez until further notice.
He can play that spot. They can shuffle him between the DH, but it gives, I think, A.J. Preller a chance to maybe bring someone in of a different.
You're going to have to find somebody else over there,
right?
For sure. You can't put Arraez at first base all year. Even though I was impressed with how he played it. I know everybody said he's the worst fielder of all time. He was far from that last year. He made a couple of mistakes. I'm not going to deny that. He made a lot of really good plays over there, Tony.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't
agree.
look completely like a fish out of water, but I don't know if you want him all season there.
Yeah, I don't know that you want him there all season either. But nonetheless, those are the kind of the two. Also, Mortejon going to the bullpen, although he's kind of been in the bullpen.
I think they just announced that he's staying.
He's going to
like,
stay
stop
in the
thinking
bullpen,
about him as a rotation option. He's not.
He won't be that.
Right.
So, least you get some clarity in terms of the guys who are already here and what will they be playing next year.
Well, we get a little, we're getting something, but we need another couple of bodies, and AJ knows it. So, I'm going to sit back, not relax, but I'm going to wait. Yeah. I'm not relaxed until I get some names and some people and some bodies.
Some names, some people, and some bodies.
Some people, some bodies.
Don't tell me you're disagreeing with me over there.
No,
you're in the same boat as I am.
I am.
Tony's the only one who knows it's all going to work out in the end.
I know. I told Tony on Saturday when we were doing the show, I was like, Tony, you've been telling us for the past 7 years that everything's going to be okay, and I'd never believed you, but then Joe Musgrove and Dylan C sits down and they say everything's going to be okay, and I'm fully buying in on it.
I mean, it's like when your family tells you. You got to hear from somebody outside your family.
You do.
To actually start to believe it.
Now, Chris, you're going to have to witness my panic moment.
Oh, I heard a little about this. The word of this did get to Albuquerque.
Whoa.
I mean, it was an ultimate panic job. He was able to recover. I'll give him some credit.
He did.
He recovered. He didn't let that ruin the rest of the interview. But the moment his mic stopped actually, coming out over the speakers, full panic mode. I mean, if there would have been, just put it this way, if it had been early enough, we all had coffee on our table, he would have knocked everybody's coffee down on the process of trying to fix something that I don't even think was in your preview. Like, you weren't going to be able to do nothing about it.
I didn't know what the heck happened because I had just literally talked to him, and then I went to go ask a question, and my mic didn't work anymore, which was very Matt Scraby, and I didn't touch
Watching
anything.
his face as he's realizing his mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out over the speaker.
And who was the interview with?
Dylan Cease.
It was with Cease.
Oh, see, Musgrove, you might have been a little more comfortable because
he
him
might
a
have
little
been.
more.
No,
He
it was
might have
fine.
been.
No, we're going to play the clip before we play the Dylan Cease interview because I think you need to really focus. At the time in my head, I thought I didn't look like I was panicked at all.
Oh, no, you definitely.
And I couldn't watch it until last night because I was so nervous about watching it that I realized, yes, I was very panicked.
Yeah.
Even Dylan Cease
Dylan
agreed.
was like, yeah, man, you looked
Dylan Cease needed you to calm down a little.
Well, Dylan Cease, I think that he's always calm because it seems like he's always calm.
Yeah, you guys will get a chance to hear from Dylan, Joe, Manny, a few others. Let's get to break. On the other side, where are we going?
Back to the big trade.
We're going back to the big trade. NBA, Luka Doncic is a Laker. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
This segment on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Robert Half, that's Half. We will talk about the game that Jimmy Butler witnessed courtside Saturday night. It was the one played at Viejas Arena between the Aztecs and Wyoming. We'll get to that in a moment. But
interesting, he wasn't at work.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know that when he's ever going to be at work again, but that's for Pat Riley and company to decide. But the huge trade that came down Saturday night, sending shockwaves not just through basketball, but I think everywhere in sports. Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. So let's start with the Lakers' point of view and reaction from a Laker fan. Just so happens that we have one here in studio with us.
You do, don't you?
Yes, we do. So what'd you think? I mean, once you shook off the first notion of it all.
It really, that lasted pretty much through the night. Like,
Really?
I really didn't know how to feel about it. The Lakers, for as down as I've been on them at times this year, are actually playing pretty good.
They're on a roll right now. They've won 8 out of 10, but a lot of it without Anthony Davis.
Right,
I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
I wonder the same thing. I think they went 4-1 on this specific road trip. They got one more game, which is against the Clippers, so it's technically a road game. But
right. They looked great the other night. They beat the Knicks in New York.
Yeah, they've looked great. So part of me is trying to understand how it helps now. I understand, of course, how it helps in the future, right? I mean,
Luka Doncic is the next.
He is
the next global talent to represent the Lakers franchise, and they've always had one.
They've always
from
they've
Jerry
always
West,
done it via
from
trade.
Elgin to Jerry to Wilt to Kareem to Magic to Kobe to Shaq to LeBron. They've always had one of these guys,
100%.
and you're right. They've almost always done it by trade.
Magic is the only one I can think of that didn't come.
Even Kobe
via
was a trade,
Yeah.
believe it or not, on draft day. Yeah,
and so I understand it from that standpoint. You get a guy who's 25, going to turn 26, I think, next month.
Yeah,
and you get him for a good 8 to 10 years. That's what the Lakers do,
and it puts the Lakers on television every 5 minutes, which is what you like.
100%.
Yeah.
But you are lacking somewhere in the middle, and I think Anthony Davis was the one who said it. He felt
We
like
need
they need
another
a
big
big
guy
with him on the team.
Now
So-
they have nobody on the front court.
And so now they'll have to address that. And I think with the remaining first-round pick that they have that has so much value, they will find a way to get a big. What that looks like, who it is, I'm not sure. Now, so many different kind of storylines off of this. I think this is further proof that no matter what the sport is, no matter how good the superstar is, when you become a certain age, the organization doesn't really care to get your opinion on things.
Anthony Davis was sharing his opinion.
Well, not
a
even for Anthony Davis. There's a lot of talk about LeBron and him not knowing and this being. Listen, LeBron is 40 years of age. I think any organization at this point would kind of be foolish if they were just only considering his point of view moving forward, knowing he's got 1, 2, maybe 3 years left in his career.
He's already played longer than anybody has in NBA history.
Right. And so I don't think it's a surprise at all that he didn't know, and that, quite frankly, Luka didn't know. And the other thing is, at the end of the day, when you're dealing with these type of deals, this is an ownership type deal. There's a reason why no one knew about it. In the age of information, for a deal to happen like this out of the blue is a strictly.
It's almost unheard of, isn't it?
It is unheard of in our time.
Right.
So owners get involved in this particular case. I can't remember his last name. Nico Harris.
He's the GM of the Mavericks.
Him and Rob Pelinka had a relationship. He was the one that brought Kobe over from Adidas to Nike. So there was already a relationship there. I just think we're going to find out sometime down the line there was something that Luka did that pushed this. Because for Dallas to reach out to the Lakers,
that's how it started. Apparently,
and ask for about this deal is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of guessing as to why Dallas would want to part with Luka Doncic. Here's a couple of the things. One, He's not known for defense.
Not at all.
2, he's not known for taking great care of himself.
Which might attribute to the defensive part.
Which might contribute to the defense. He's overweight. His conditioning isn't great. He has a lackadaisical approach to his diet. Sometimes he's in great shape. When he is, he's unstoppable. There's other times when you can't play him as much as you'd like to. Those are some of the reasons being given as to why Dallas wanted to do this. I think the other part of it is, and you touched on it, the Lakers at the exact moment right now, I don't think have increased their chances to win this year. However, the gamblers out there have gone crazy.
Yes, they
and
have.
the Lakers' odds to win the NBA championship have plummeted now to where they're one of the favorites.
Right.
Because they've got Luka Doncic. But you're smart enough, and we're all smart enough to know, without a front court player, they're not going to win the championship.
Not in the West. I mean,
Right.
Dallas now has like 4 big men.
Dallas
Oklahoma City's got full of big men.
So
right?
as it stands now, the Lakers are kind of in a transition. But I agree with the big reason the Lakers did this is because this is the first step to life after LeBron,
For sure.
whenever that is.
For sure.
So that's
Doesn't
what the
mean
Lakers.
they're trying to push him out. It just
No.
means in the same
They want to
way-
have somebody in place.
Listen, they just went through this not that long ago. Kobe Bryant was on his way out the door. They were trying like heck to get someone that was going to be able to replace him. Julius Randle. They stumble upon D'Angelo Russell. They get Lonzo Ball. None of them out of the
They didn't
draft.
fit the bill,
They
no.
tried to do it out of the draft.
Right.
There wasn't that type of guy. And so now you've been able to kind of fill that spot. You don't have to worry about it. But I don't think they're done. I think with the deadline looming,
I think the Lakers
they're
are
gonna
still
do
in
something
position.
else. Yeah.
I agree with that. On the other side, I really believe Dallas. And you know how good Anthony Davis is and can be. This guy's a 5-time all-defensive player. We know how many points and rebounds he can get just by showing up.
Yep.
They still have Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
They still have Klay Thompson. They still have 2 or 3 guys at the center position, including, I think it's Daniel Gafford, who never misses a shot.
Gafford, Lively, both of those guys.
Dallas is maybe traded themselves, I think, into a chance to really win it.
I think they have the best chance out of the Western Conference.
Which is so crazy because they just traded the most popular guy in
Right.
basketball, but they probably got better.
This is one of those very few, like, rare chances where you move guys like this and both teams
I think are benefiting. Gonna
from
benefit,
it.
yeah.
Anthony Davis is a phenomenal defender. It's the one thing Dallas didn't do. You forget Dallas was in the finals last year.
Yes.
With basically with the 2 big men that they have now. Now you add a guy who is a defensive-minded power forward. He gets to play the 4, which is the other thing.
Thing he likes.
Anthony Davis loves to do. And so I think the one thing that happened from the time that Luka got there to now is Kyrie's come along and he's not only improved their team culture, I think he's matured in a way where they feel comfortable now that they didn't need that other guard. And that even if that other guard was Luka Doncic, they felt like we needed to get better defensively in order to have a legitimate shot. I think they've done a terrific job.
I'll say one thing for the NBA. They needed this
no
so
doubt.
bad.
No doubt.
Because it takes away from the too many 3-point shot discussion that keeps going on. Now we're actually kind of excited.
We're talking ball again.
We want to watch the Laker game. We want to watch the Dallas game.
How
We
about
want to
this?
see this stuff.
I'll say this about Luka too, because it gets especially in the last 17 hours. It's been a lot of discussion about his conditioning and all these things. Despite all of that, he has the 3rd highest scoring average in the history
Oh, he's unstoppable.
of the NBA.
He's flat out
He has
unstoppable.
the 2nd highest scoring average in playoff history, only behind Michael Jordan.
Now, he's flat out unstoppable. And that's even with whatever baggage you want to try to attach to him.
This was a guy that LeBron tried to sign to his shoe deal, and so he's set out.
Hopefully, he'll learn some stuff from LeBron. That wouldn't be a bad thing for him either.
I think Kendrick Perkins said that this morning. If he's smart, he's gonna slide up. He should have LeBron annoyed of him, and he's underneath him so much, trying to figure out how he can.
Can you
be
imagine
a better
LeBron
pro.
tries to put Luka through his workout regimen?
Not right
At the
now.
end of the first week, Luka will be dead on the floor.
He'll be right back on the injured list. Is what he'll be.
I think Zion needs to call up Luca and be like, man, how do you keep beating and keep on that floor? Because I can't figure that out.
I haven't figured it out.
Right, dude.
Now, Barkley is my all-time favorite, Sir Charles. But I don't necessarily agree with him. He was pretty pointed in his commentary saying that he doesn't think
they're
Luka
good.
and
Yeah.
LeBron can play together. He cited a bunch of reasons. Charles is smarter than I am. But I'm also smart enough to realize that LeBron's a winning ball player,
Right.
and he will fit in wherever he has to. It would take him a little while to learn, but I'm pretty sure they'll figure that out.
I love Charles too, but he is wrong often when some of these things pop
Yeah.
up. But to your point, I think the one thing that has happened this year in the little bit of watching the Lakers, and a lot of bit of watching Lakers, LeBron has had to play off the ball more than I can recall him as a Laker. They've really given the ball to Austin Reeves to be the guy that is facilitating offense. So I don't think this is going to be much of an issue at all. And I think the other thing that you got to keep in mind is Luka just played with another ball-dominant guard, and he had
Kyrie wasn't a great passer.
He had great success doing this. So it'll be interesting. I think I'm as excited to see how it works out as anybody.
The one thing I will tell and warn Laker fans, at least at the outset, be ready for a lot of referee crying.
Oh my gosh, he complains a
Luka
lot.
is the all-time complainer, so we'll see how that works out.
He complains a lot.
A lot. So maybe you can put some of that aside. The other trade, which is nobody even noticed, was my guy Zach LaVine finally being moved to
De'Aaron Fox. Yeah.
Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox goes to San Antonio. The Chicago Bulls get basically nothing, which is what I figured. So let's not worry about that. But De'Aaron Fox going to San Antonio to pair with Wembayama. De'Aaron Fox is a pretty good player, Tony. I don't hate this. Levine returns with DeMar DeRozan. Sacramento they seem a little stuck this year. But I like this for the Spurs. What do you like it for? You like it for the Kings.
No, I like it for the Spurs, too.
Oh, okay.
I think, De'Aaron Fox gets to kind of play a little two-guard because Paul's still there. You got Wembanyama over there as well. I think I think you're right about it. They're kind of stuck. And I think that has to do with their leadership. I mean, they fired their head coach, who was just the coach of the year last season. And now they're kind of where Sacramento has been. It's like kind of just stuck.
Yeah.
I
don't think Zach LaVine's going to ride to the rescue in Sacramento.
He's having a career year.
Sure
that
he is.
being said, he's back with DeMar DeRozan. I'm not sure how those two
I
mix.
don't like it. I like it for the Spurs. The Bulls are just, idiots. All right, so that's the NBA stuff. And we don't talk a lot of NBA, but how could you, not talk about one of the biggest trades that's ever been made? When do we know? Luka's not healthy at the moment, right?
He's not healthy at the moment.
So he
but
won't be playing for a little bit.
They expect his date was February 8th with Dallas, but
So that's a week.
they expect him to play before the break. I think he's being introduced tomorrow.
We're going to want to watch the first Laker game.
Oh,
And when
for
does
sure.
AD play for Dallas? I mean, I imagine pretty quick.
he's
He,
hurt
he
too,
was
right?
also hurt too. He had
that's
an
right, he's
abdomen
hurt, too.
thing. So
Yeah. All right.
We'll see.
I texted my friend Mark Ziegler, the UT. I said the following. What did Nick Boyd say to the official Saturday night?
you got to give me the rundown on this.
To lead Wyoming to get 8 free throw attempts in 2 seconds and almost overcome an 11-point deficit with 10 seconds to play.
All right, I'm a little, but I was not at home Saturday.
Well, I'm gonna
night.
tell you
I
what
missed this
happened in
too.
the
You're
game.
not the only one who's
I
in the dark
just saw
on
the
this.
score and was like, they win. Okay, we
No,
move on.
that's what
No,
I
you won't
saw.
believe what happened in this game. First of all, the Aztecs were down by 9 with 6 minutes to go. Looked like they were toast.
Came roaring back. I saw
They
this.
went
part.
on a 20-0 run. And the Aztecs go up 11 with 10 seconds to go in the game. 10 seconds.
This is where I stopped watching.
11 by 10 seconds. Wyoming hoists up a 3 in desperation. And Davis fouls the guy for the Aztecs. No harm done. I mean, you don't want to take a foul there, but no harm done.
Right.
The guy goes to the free throw line. He makes the first. He makes the second. After the second, Nick Boyd walks by him, says something
To the shooter?
To the shooter,
Oh,
and
here
it
we
looked
go.
it looked very casual, but he walked by him. I don't know if he said anyway. He immediately gets ejected from the game. It wasn't even a technical. It wasn't a warrant. It was out. They threw him out of the game, and the only explanation given by Brian Dutcher, and I understand that Dutcher doesn't want to make a big deal out of this, was he had been getting warned by the officials all game long, and he finally said one too many things. I still don't believe that because I'm an official, and if you say one too many things, you normally get, that's it, technical foul.
Right.
You don't immediately get
ejected.
kicked out of the game, but he did. And so I don't think anybody knows exactly what he said. Maybe Ziegler will be willing to part with it. Maybe Ziegler doesn't know. I don't know. But anyway, that happened. So now, kid shoots the third free throw, makes that. Then you get the 2 tee shots, technical. He makes both of those.
That's 6 points right
that's
there.
5 points. Sorry, 3 and 2.
Okay.
So that's 5. Then they get the ball because of the technical. They pass it in. The guy pump fakes a 3, and DeGorville smashes into him. Another foul. So
behind the arc.
Behind the arc. So that goes to the line. He makes all 3. Now it's a 3-point game. And it took 2 seconds off the clock. The Aztecs passed it in. I think they fouled DeGorville. He went down, made 1, put him up by 4. Wyoming came down, hit a 3, cut it to 1. But there was only 1 second left. The Aztecs made another free throw. So they were never really in danger.
That's too close.
But to see an 11-point lead almost disappear in the last 10 seconds was something I don't think you'll ever see again. So it was a crazy finish. But yeah, I don't know what Nick Boyd said, but it had to be bad.
Do you think they were just trying to preemptively
Maybe
stop something?
I don't know because the official came flying in.
So he didn't even hear it?
I think he heard it. He was standing on the baseline. Nick Boyd turned to the free throw shooter. I thought he said something. He didn't wave his. It was very non-demonstrative. And the official just comes flying out from the baseline and goes, "You're gone." And that was it. And like I said, Dutcher explained it as if the referee had been telling him and warning him. But I've warned guys before, you have to say something horrible to get immediately ejected. And that's what they did. So I don't know. It's not the end of the world, but it's inquiring minds want to know what happened there. So
That is a lot of points in a row.
8 points in 2 seconds. 8 free throws in 2 seconds.
Leave it to the
Mountain West officials to find a way.
To find a way to get it close.
Maybe it was Jimmy Butler loudly talking about his situation with Miami, and they overheard that. And
Butler
like,
created the controversy.
Nick Boyd said those terrible things about Pat Riley. He's out of here.
Dude, you are on a whole nother level.
He's always looking for
conspiracy
something.
theories that you got rolling today. Man.
Well, I think of course it's not Jimmy Butler. He was in attendance and he was wearing a wave hat, but
He was there.
Jimmy, go to work, man.
Seriously.
Get out of here, man.
Get
What
him
are
out
you
of
doing?
here.
$500,000.
$500,000 a day, dog. You want to
That's
be here?
insane.
Get outta here.
$500,000 a day plus a courtside seat. That costs a little money. You think Jimmy Butler called the Aztec Media Relations Department and said, "This is Jimmy Butler"?
I actually
He
really
could.
wonder that.
He very well could have.
He's like, I'm
You
kind
got to
of-
ask your guy over there, Richard.
Yes.
Richard, are
could
you
ask.
coughing up tickets? Tell Jimmy Butler to pay for his own ticket. He can afford it.
Like
Oh,
Jimmy,
someone
for sure.
says Jimmy to the Lakers confirmed.
Stop playing.
No, they're just saying
Oh, that's
him
gonna
being in
happen?
town.
That doesn't help us.
No, he
actually.
does have a house here.
He does.
So
He does?
Yeah, he
in
does.
San Diego?
Jimmy used to
He
work.
does.
He used to work out at Poway High.
So
There you
he's
go.
not even in Miami anymore. He's just back here living
Chilling.
his life.
There you go.
That's so crazy.
The one thing that the crazy finish kind of overlooked is the fact that the Aztecs have now, in their last 4 games, pulled off a miracle win at Air Force on the last second, gone on an 18-0 run to erase a 21-point deficit and beat San Jose, and then the other night, a 20-0 run.
You know what's funny?
And people are starting to say they're not going to make the NCAA tournament, and I'm going to say they won all those games. You keep on winning, you can't take them out of the mix.
They're dangerous because of this, and they're also maddening because
They're
of it.
scary,
Their
yes.
their youth is
Yes.
showing in like many different ways.
Yes, they will play at Colorado State Saturday. One more quick thing on the game. We're going to try to get him on, I hope, later in this week. But congrats to Ted Leitner, who was honored at halftime of the game Saturday night, as he should be, wrapping up his 30th and final season broadcasting Aztecs basketball. So as Tony likes to say. Theodore,
Theodore!
congratulations. I heard it was a really nice ceremony. A lot of former players were there and kind of were part of the ceremony, and I think that was a nice honor.
He deserves it, man.
He certainly deserves that. All right, we've
30
got
years, man.
30 years with the Aztecs.
Changing of the guard here.
I know. Well, nothing lasts forever. Age is undefeated, as the old saying goes. All right, we'll have our Dylan Cease interview in the 3 o'clock hour, Joe Musgrove at Fan Fest in the 5 o'clock hour. Next up, Gwynn and Chris's Daily Gambit. Thanks for being with us. Hour number 1 in the can.
Okay.
I know how much you don't like saying that, so I was.
I know. I didn't really like can. I couldn't think of something better.
Hour number 1 in the toilet, everybody.
Into hour number 2. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Guest light today. I must say, typically 240 usually have a guest, but we've been dry past, I'd say 4 shows. Been a little dry.
4?
It's been about 4.
No.
Anybody out there want to be a guest on the show? Call Scrabe.
We have 2 guests on today. We actually have 2 guests on today, guys.
If you're running around and you have anything interesting to say, I'll give you Scraby's number.
We have Dylan Cease at 340, and we have Joe Musgrove at 540 today.
Those were 2 of the 3 interviews we had last week. We will play 2 of them for you again here today. For those who may have missed it.
Maybe you could get the President of the United States on. He was busy today honoring the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers at the White House.
Huh?
Okay. Good for him.
Are the Panthers having a good season this year?
They're having another good season. They're not. I don't believe they're in first place, but they're certainly in playoff position.
Was it last year that we had Tampa and
we had a couple with Tampa?
2 Floridas in there last year?
No, it was Florida, and Florida played last year.
Preds?
No, Edmonton. It was an exciting series. Florida won the first 3. Edmonton.
Those 2 faced off on each other, right?
Edmonton went back to win 3, and then Florida took Game 7.
Did Tampa
Bay won 2 prior to that.
Okay.
Prior to Florida, but the South Florida has had the Stanley Cup for a while.
Which is very strange.
Time to give it up.
Time to
There's no ice down there.
Yeah, the warmest spot in the country is the best at hockey right now.
We do have some Daily Gambit to get to today. We didn't have any bets on Friday. Of course, Greg Camarillo was nice enough to join us,
and he refused to gamble. Smart man.
No, actually,
I think we got sidetracked.
Yeah,
we were
we
talking
did.
about Gatorade colors, because obviously it's that time of year. Or
Yes.
Gatorade colors.
prop bets
All right.
and
He
things
told
of that
me-
much.
Oh yes. What's going to be?
He told
poured
me
on the
those were
coach?
his favorite bets, and so I wanted to talk about them, but then we just talked about Gatorade colors for like 5 minutes. Because we're like, does it have to be like ice or cherry glacier ice freeze?
What I found interesting is that Gatorade had only the lemon, lime, and the orange for about 35 years. And then all of a sudden, they must have had a breakthrough.
They did.
And it got good to them. And then they just put every color in the rainbow out there.
Every color, sometimes twice, 3 times, different flavoring, though.
Everything.
What was that one that I said that I hated, and then people were mad at me because
Was it Riptide Rush?
maybe it was no, it was a Gatorade, but it was like
Was it clear?
No, it was like cucumber and
Yeah. I remember.
I can't remember, but I got crushed for that.
You
People apparently love the
the
cucumber
You
drink.
get crushed quite a bit.
Often.
Oh, wait, I just saw a quote from our guy, Charlie Hoffman.
What'd he say?
Charlie Hoffman, this is ESPN banner on my phone.
Whoa.
Tells PGA Tour golfers that slow play is an issue.
Oh.
Hey,
And when Charlie talks, they better listen.
that's awesome because you know what? I have a big 5 question. There was someone that played so slow over the weekend that I think golfers now are starting to call out the slow golfers.
Well,
Is
that's
it
a good
like
way to-
is it like trendy to be slow right now? I feel like we've been talking about it more.
It's trendy to be quick right now. It's trendy to
Why
keep
is
up
everybody playing so slow?
because they're pros.
So
Because they're thinking about their shot. There was a lot of wind. There was a lot of rain yesterday and
I'm
over the
saying
weekend.
all of these elements have existed in our lifetime since the golf game began.
You know who Jason or Sergio?
First
talks
time
about
ever
this.
at Pebble Beach yesterday, there was rain and wind.
First time they ever had
Right,
it, huh?
at Pebble Beach, because they've always had perfect weather there.
No, some players just play really slow. Their whole process is very, very, very slow. Tom Kim was that guy yesterday, and they waited for like a while for him to hit a shot, and he immediately hit it out of bounds.
Why don't the pros do what the people that I play with on the weekends or weekdays do? Just hit it into the back of my head. That's what everybody else seems to do. They don't wait around. They just
I think
slam
it
the
would
ball
be
down the fairway.
Great television if they mic these golfers up so we can hear them when they're dog cussing whoever's in front of them out in front.
Do you remember when
I think that would be great
Brooks
television.
Koepka like looked at his watch
I
with
do remember
Bryson DeChambeau and he said it's ridiculous?
I do remember
Which the further we get away from Brooks, the more I enjoy
You
his
miss him,
answers.
don't
miss
you?
him a little bit.
A little bit. I
You miss
do.
him, don't
like
you?
looking at the watch
I
as
told
he's
you he
reading
was a
putt is
baseball
amazing.
player stuck in a golf man's body
He said that.
that he is He's had a lot of those same feelings.
Says he doesn't want to play golf. He wish he could play baseball professionally instead.
Sorry, Chris. A lot of us
And then he
wish.
gave me a swirly.
Lost you.
Let's go to Daily
Oh, you
Gambit.
guys don't remember that?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. As we said, no bets from last week, Chris, so we have a clean slate.
We still have to wrap up and present last week's winner with their trophy.
Let me guess, Tony. Let me guess. It's Chris because he's bringing it up in the way he's doing it.
Final totals: Scraby 10 and 14, Chris 14 and 10, Tony the champion at 16 and 8. As usual, you're wrong. Scrape.
It's not as usual, but
As usual, you're wrong.
Tony was the
worked out in
champ
his
last
favor
week.
today.
It doesn't. It worked out in Tony's favor today. All right, here we go with tonight's games. This is an interesting matchup. You've got a rematch, I believe, of the final NBA Cup game. Oklahoma City home to Milwaukee. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo must have stayed home because OKC is favored by 16 points over the Bucks. And these are two of the better teams in the league.
Must be.
So I got to believe Giannis is not playing for that spread to be what it is. Tony,
I agree.
You're our NBA expert. OKC by 16 big ones tonight. Who do you like here? OKC, do they still have the best record? No, they do not. They're 38 and 9.
Is that the Cavs now?
Cavs are 40 and 9.
Wow.
Yeah. OKC's 38 and 9 though. Bucks are 26 and 21. 16 points is a lot. I got it, but like I said, Giannis cannot. Be playing.
Let's hear who's all out. Let's see. Antetokounmpo, Middleton, Lillard. Okay, yeah.
They're all out?
They're all out.
Why?
I don't know.
What do they have to do?
Really glad I bought the ticket for tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. That's true because Milwaukee only plays there once a year.
On the flip
Where are
side,
they at again?
At
Caruso,
OKC.
Oh, okay.
Caruso, Williams, Holmgren, all out.
Holmgren's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for a minute. Yeah, we'll be going with OKC.
OKC. Scrab, you got the scouting report now. Who do you like?
By the way, has Chet Holmgren ever really played?
Yes, he was balling.
Has he
I didn't
ever
know.
really
I was
played?
no, in the NBA.
You are such a downer on guys.
I am asking.
He's
Has
got
he
like a
ever
broken
really
leg right now.
Has he
Give me a
ever really
break.
played?
The reason
He was
I
like
am
Rookie
asking
of the
is
Year
because I
last
haven't.
year.
He was
Yes.
Victor Wembanyama was.
I mean, he
it?
finished
I think he
second.
finished second.
Oh, okay. Well, wrong as usual.
But he played the whole year, though, Scrabe.
I didn't. I was legitimately asking. I haven't heard one thing about that guy. And we all said he was too skinny when he got drafted.
Because you don't like
We
basketball.
were all
It's
wrong.
okay. That's why you don't look for basketball stuff.
I'm going with Milwaukee.
You're taking the 16 points.
Yes.
I got to go with OKC just because I don't know any Milwaukee players left. Knicks are favored by 6.5 over the much improved Houston Rockets tonight
Houston.
at
At
Madison
home?
Square Garden.
Okay.
The Rockets are number 3 in the West,
Yeah.
32 and 16. They're also 17 and 7 on the road. Quite
Yeah.
good. Knicks have basically the same record, 32 and 17. Scraby, Knicks by 6.5 here.
I'm gonna go with the Rockets.
I'm also going to go with the Rockets. They've impressed me.
I can tell you when a young team goes to New York City,
Wide-eyed?
doesn't usually, not because, it's just because you want to enjoy the nightlife a little bit.
They're too excited to go see
I'm
Cats.
gonna go ahead and take the Knickers.
The Knicks. The Knickers.
Yes.
Glad you said that
Knickerbockers.
word.
OKC game, SGA. 34.5 points tonight.
Wait, who
Over
did you say,
or
Chris?
Did I what?
Who did you pick in that one?
I picked the Rockets. I picked the nightlife guys.
Okay. Yeah, Chris missed it.
No, I heard it.
Okay, good. We're moving on.
All right, SGA is 34.5 points. I'm going to say under because the Bucks aren't going to keep it close enough for him to score that many. Tony?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
34.5 points. SGA.
Is that just points?
Points only.
Oh, yeah.
34.5.
He's playing against nobody. Yes.
Over?
Over.
Scrape?
Yeah, over.
Over. College basketball tonight, Kansas. By the way, Saturday, while the Aztecs were sweating it out, 11 ranked teams lost. Tied the all-time record for one day in the Associated Press poll.
11 of them, huh?
11 of them.
So that means the Aztecs moved up, right?
That's
That
a
was
fair
gonna be
point,
my next
right? We keep
question.
winning, but it doesn't help. All these teams just stay ranked anyway. Kansas is number 16. They're home to number 8, Iowa State. Iowa State lost both games last week. Kansas favored by 3. Tony. Kansas at home. Iowa State struggling. Kansas also lost Saturday. I mean, everybody lost Saturday pretty much.
So what game? What game is this then?
We have
Iowa
State
State at
at Kansas.
Iowa State at Kansas.
Kansas by 3.
Give me Kansas.
KU. Scrape. Today.
Brock Purdy Cyclones, baby.
Iowa State. All right. I'll take Kansas at home. Women's game, number 10 Duke at number 14 NC State. Good matchup. Duke on the road, favored by 3.5. Women's college basketball.
Am I at first?
You are. NC State was in the Final Four last year. I don't know if that means anything.
I know
to
nothing
anybody.
about the Duke women, but I will go with them.
You're going to go with Duke?
Yep.
I'll again go with the home team, NC State.
Was that last year that the NC State men were in it too?
Men
Deep?
and women. Correct.
Oh yeah, remember
They had
that
a dude
big
that
dude?
looked like Zach Randolph. down
Yes.
there?
They had a big guy in there. Yeah, I don't know where he's gone. Tony,
Where all Cinderellas go, which is the real world, Chris.
The real world.
Give me Duke.
Says Duke. All right. That's it. 5 games today.
5 games.
Quick and painless.
Just like that. All right. That brings us to the end of the first segment of 3 o'clock. Let's go to break. When we come back, talk a little more basketball.
Really?
We are?
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh.
On the other side. Gwynn and Chris.
Make sure you're listening. We will announce today's biggest fan. That fan will have a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padre game with 20 of their closest friends. If you want to register to have a chance to win this amazing prize, register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. We call a winner out on our show at 5:30 every day, morning show at 9:30, midday show at 1:30. So 3 chances each day to have your name called and possibly end up with that great prize. That's at 5:30 today. Let's go back to Saturday at the – I know Tony wants to talk more basketball, but Scraby and I put the kibosh on that. Just like, come on. Enough is enough.
I didn't really want to talk basketball.
No, I know.
Okay.
Enough is enough. Let's go back to Saturday and the Fan Fest. Because I think Manny Machado, I think he made people feel a little better. I did see something interesting, and you guys definitely talked to Joe Musgrove. Manny said that he thought, and we'll hear the quote here, but he thought that Roki had pretty much kind of already made up his mind. Well, let's hear what Manny said first, and then
It's got the question in it, too,
Okay.
so listen up, everyone.
All right.
Do you think the uncertainty with ownership, the future, do you think that affected your chances of Roki at all?
I don't think so. I think he had his mindset already where he was going. That's just my opinion.
So you thought he was going to LA all along?
Yeah.
Did you get that time for one or two more guys when you met him and hosted him?
I just I don't know, just a gut feeling, I guess I will say.
Thank you, Manny, for saying everything that I've wanted to say forever.
You have said.
You didn't say it was a gut feeling. You said it was a conspiracy. That's a big difference.
Okay, yes, that is the big difference.
Big difference
But
between
I love
you and Manny there.
that Manny has no qualms about saying this. I
Why
love
would
it.
he have qualms about saying that?
I don't know, but I could totally see him being like, oh,
As long as he
I
didn't,
don't know.
No, as long as he didn't say, I think that it was a done deal beforehand and a backhanded deal made quietly behind closed doors. That would be something that would alert and create a
1,000%,
stir.
right.
I think
but if he just says, I kind of think he felt like he was going to go to the Dodgers,
And that's why
fine.
Manny's smart.
That's his opinion.
Because it's his opinion, right? He didn't say he heard this, he heard that, but he's letting people know, hey, we're not as stupid as you think we are out there, people.
Well, Joe Musgrove didn't respond directly to that, at least what I read. Joe basically said that he felt by the time Roki had got to San Diego, he had been everywhere like 100 times, and you may not have gotten, because he felt like Manny was reacting to the fact that he didn't think Sasaki was that excited here in San Diego. And Joe was just saying, well, by the time he got to San Diego, maybe he was a little tired of the whole process.
Yeah, maybe so.
So
I mean, listen,
it was a little differing of opinion. Joe didn't necessarily think he had already made up his mind. He kind of made it, at least in the paper. You guys talked to Joe, so
we didn't ask him about
you didn't
that.
ask him about.
No.
But in the paper, what Joe said seemed to indicate, it just happened the way it happened. That's it.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter
Right.
how he came to the decision he came to. He came to that decision, and it wasn't here. And so Padres will pivot because of it. I think, there's a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but they need guys like Randy Vasquez and Matt Waldron to pitch at least as well as they did last year. At least.
I think Waldron's going to be great.
I don't disagree.
I mean, he had everything going last year.
Yeah.
And the knuckleball can desert you, which
sure
it did.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have time for it to come back.
I couldn't wait on it at that point.
That's right.
No.
But I mean, I think
he's going to be. I think he's going to be better for his year last year. I think Vasquez is going to be better. I think Brito is another guy that will be better this year.
They also have Yuki Matsui, who struggled last year, but he still has a pedigree behind him. He could still be the pitcher that they thought he was going to be.
Thought he was going to be the closer last year at this time.
That is true.
I mean, it just goes to show that so many crazy things can happen between now and the start of the season. Manny, one more thing was asked about now that Roki has made his decision. Thoughts on this roster moving forward?
I mean, obviously, those are a lot of things that were, it's out of our control, right? We can't really control those things. He had the option to sign anywhere he wanted to, right? Obviously, we wanted it to be here, and he went a different direction. That's all right, but at the end of the day, we gotta, look at the guys that we have in here. Are we disappointed we haven't made any moves? Yeah, I think, as a team, we kind of look up there and you're a little disappointed that, we let some of the guys that were a core group here, kind of go elsewhere. But at the end of the day, we can't control that, right? But we can control with the group of guys that we have here, and we're going to go and get ready for a long season. I think that doesn't change, right? Our goal is still our goal, and our goal is to win a championship and win a World Series. So, come spring training time with the guys that we have in that clubhouse, we're going to go out there and we're going to
running for mayor of San Diego, Manny Machado.
What I like
and
about
getting my vote.
What I like about actually being in the building is you can decipher the not true statements that pop up in the news shortly thereafter. I ended up texting it to you guys. Bleacher Report. They put out a banner.
Were they off?
And it said Manny down on SD's off season.
Yeah, that was not
so when you
fair.
read that and you weren't there last night, you're like, man, Manny.
I would have clicked.
He's pissed off that the Padres
haven't got anybody. But then you hear him talk. Far from pissed off.
That's not what he said. So,
But by the way, they only put print too in these articles so that you can't read inflection or tone or anything like that. So it's very one-sided from Bleacher
If you
Report.
just read the quote that said, of course we've noticed that we haven't added any players, you can read that any way you want. But if you listen to him talk,
that's what I would do.
Doesn't sound like he's too upset. I think also, I just kind of a funny feeling I have. But the core, what are you going to say? 10 guys, the core 10 guys that are back from last year, maybe more, maybe less, but right around there. Don't they all get together, maybe, Tony, and say, we're still pretty damn good. Let's go out and kind of prove it to everybody that doesn't think we can get this done now.
That's kind of what I've been alluding to this whole time, is that those guys won't approach it or look at it in the same way that us on the outside look at it. They can't. You can't afford to. You can't afford yourself to think like that and be able to go out and compete and get the results you're looking for. It just doesn't work that way. And so, of course, they would have loved to have Sasaki. They would love to have had Profar come back. But that ain't what is the cards they've been dealt. And so A.J. Preller, as he said, he needs 1 or 2 bats. He needs a pitcher. We'll be waiting to see what that is. But these guys are going to go to proverbial war with the guys that are in their foxhole, in their clubhouse. That's the way it's always been.
No doubt. One other quick baseball note over the weekend that you may not have caught. The passing of former Commissioner Fay Vincent at the age of 86. I know he was commissioner during your dad's career. He took over for A. Bartlett Giamatti, who famously banned Pete Rose from baseball, died of a heart attack a month later. So Fay Vincent was the deputy commissioner, so he slid into the role. I recall him doing a pretty good job. He's pretty hardcore in a lot of his decisions. He absolutely refused to hear anything about reinstating Pete Rose. I know that.
Nothing.
He also issued a lifetime ban to George Steinbrenner for paying a known gambler money to find dirt on Dave Winfield. That's a pretty famous story, but how about that? Trying to find dirt on your own player. Anyway, Steinbrenner was a cold dude. Yeah. He also issued a lifetime ban to Steve Howe, a relief pitcher who passed away in the last 10 years or so. But Steve had a lot of drug problems at the time. Arbitrator reinstated him. But anyway, that was Fay Vincent's legacy. He was there when the Rockies and the Marlins came in, baseball expansion, and then he gave way to Bud Selig. So there's a little history on that. Your guy, Bud Selig, Tony. I know you like him.
I do like Bud.
I do like Bud.
Save that clip.
He signed your checks. It worked.
I don't think he should be, that's the whole other thing. But I think I like Bud, though.
I'm glad you do. All right, coming up, we'll go back to Saturday and the Fan Fest. The guys visited with Dylan Cease. We'll hear a little of that when Gwynn and Chris returns.
Laker fan.
8:35. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Dylan Cease joined us Saturday. We'll get to that shortly, but Chris, I got to tell you, man. Your guy, Matt Scraby.
He is my guy.
He is. He's come a long way. I mean, from the times of what is my mouth actually saying to the weather. What is going on with the weather?
Wow, it is raining really hard. This is being cool here on the Entercom Empire, so if you're sitting out there.
That was crazy, but it wasn't as bad as, hey, Scraby. What's up, Scraby?
What's
up, Scraby? He was doing a commercial and he said hello to himself.
What's up, Scraby?
Remember those days? That was a long time ago.
Every time we opened the mic, anything was possible.
What's up,
back in the day.
Scraby?
What's up, Scraby?
So I say that to
Blah,
say,
blah, blah, blah.
right. One of the many moments Scraby has had on the mic.
Right.
I'll say that to say, yeah, Saturday was his first time, I believe, in front of an audience, actually having to conduct an interview. And so, for Scraby, it may have felt like back in the days where we were playing those clips there.
Yep.
We had an incident. Dylan Cease comes on, ready to start the interview. Actually, we've already started the interview, I believe.
Okay. Yes, we have.
And for some reason, Scraby's mic is not working. He's talking, but nothing's coming out of the speakers.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, boy is right. If you could have had my look, I was looking directly at Scraby. Dylan Cease is sitting in between the two of us. As his brain starts to figure out that there's no sound coming through the speaker. I mean, the panic set in. I mean, it was a
panic meter
record time.
How was the heart rate on the watch?
Oh,
at the
it
time?
was moving. It was.
I should have asked that at the time. I know that heart rate had to be 3 digits for sure.
Yeah, it was moving.
So he starts to panic, and as I said earlier, if we all had coffee on the desk, he would have knocked it all down. And eventually
he was flailing around.
He was. Eventually, I don't even know that he actually did anything, but the mic came back on. He settled in. And I brought the other stuff up earlier because those incidents, whether it be the weather or what's up, Scraby, they really threw a wrench in the rest of whatever was happening that day. My man recovered nicely.
Yes, he used to go into a deep depression for about a week.
Oh my gosh, he would stop talking almost, and do you know how that was?
No, he would make a mistake on Monday, and by Thursday he wasn't over it yet.
He wasn't. He bounced back so fast and was able to get on with the interview. Did a fantastic job in front of the audience there. Fine work, young man.
I'm proud of you, but why are you still worried about Kim Villalobos' photo from last Tuesday?
That's
been a week.
Times.
Well, because
he asked me about it first thing today.
In that case, I am. There's someone else involved with my follies. Like Dylan Cease, it wasn't really a big deal for him because I just. But here, Chris, watch on your little screen that I have up there.
Hang on.
I'm going to be playing.
By the way, Chris, I don't know how you look at yourself while you're doing the show.
Oh, he has to pull it back up.
Oh, you have to pull it. You take it down too. Okay, never mind.
No, I never look at myself during the show.
Are you watching, Chris?
Yeah.
So the clip has started with me in the motion of trying to fix this, and here it is.
I don't even need
My mic is there. All right, we're talking to Dylan Cease here.
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half. Did I look like
Dylan Cease said you panicked.
So to talk
I didn't get the
about-
full effect of it. You kind of picked it up in the middle there.
Oh, okay. So here, Chris, watch it one more time because Tony stops talking, and then you could see me and hear me trying to talk, but
Yeah, I
nothing's
get it.
coming
Okay.
out. So watch my face.
Oh no! Oh my God! We're talking to
Is my mic
test. Okay, so when that is happening, I honestly was I didn't feel like I looked that bad. I felt like I had it under control. Rewatching the video proves to me that I can't go off of memory because that was anything but controlled.
I didn't even see the video, and I could feel
Dylan
the panic
Cease is
over here.
doing his best to keep it in.
No, he was great because I asked him later. I go, well, "Did I panic?" He's like, "I think you panicked."
I have another question that doesn't have to do with your panic.
Yes.
Were you actually wearing like a sport coat there?
No,
or am I not
was-
seeing that correctly?
He was dressed nice though.
You look
he was
nice.
dressed nice.
It was like
What's going on?
it was just like a nice jacket that I
What's
bought.
going on?
You look good.
We don't like in San Diego. You don't really need jackets.
You don't. I mean,
I know.
I
That's
bought
why I
one.
was. If you were wearing a sport coat, I would almost fall off this chair. So,
do you own a sports coat?
I do. I have 2 suits.
Okay.
They're
Two suits, huh?
Yeah, I got
full suits.
Yep.
Do they fit, or are they from like the 70s?
They are a little tight.
Black and gray.
Black and like
Navy?
like a charcoal.
Okay, black and gray.
Yeah,
good.
I guess that is great. But I when I went to go get the suits, they like did all the measuring and everything, and so I tried to put them on.
Wait, they probably should be a little bit loose at this point. You've lost a bunch of weight.
No, I was skinnier when I got the suits.
How long ago did you get these suits,
Like
bro?
8 years ago.
Yeah, man, it's about. We're gonna have to do something. We're gonna hook you up, dog.
Oh well, when we had a friend that got married last May, who we all know,
And you had to.
I
Jump
went to
in
go.
it?
No, I went on Saturday morning
Oh,
of the
that's
wedding.
right.
I go and I get my suit out of the closet.
and you held it up, and it was just this little miniature
Yeah, I'm
thing.
like, oh, I got two suits. One of them is going to fit.
8 years ago.
One of them is going to fit. Put the pants on. Couldn't even get the pants buckled
I was
with,
about to say,
with the
8?
extension buckle.
Dog, I know how my suits were from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
It's,
it doesn't work.
I do need to get a
Even
new
when
suit.
you're in shape, man, 5 years still.
It's a long way.
Things change.
Yeah.
The jacket was a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
The pants were definitely tighter.
Yeah.
I could have probably bust the seam on the back if I tried, to be honest.
Well, nonetheless, the interview went great. Other than Scraby's
snafu.
It actually did.
It did. Let's check some traffic, and then we'll get to Mr. Cease.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accident.
Right now, Dylan Cease joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Dylan. Here you go. We'll get that on there. We'll turn this on. You got everything in your headphones?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
good to go.
All right.
Well, Dylan, I think the first obvious question: long hair, long beard. Have you had a shave since the last game of the season?
I don't think so.
Man,
I don't think so.
that's great. That's
Why
great.
is that?
Just changing it up. Why not? You know?
Okay. All right. I'm jealous of the beard because I'm a guy who likes to grow a beard, but your beard, how long did that take to grow?
I think this is 3 months, maybe.
3
Now,
months. Okay.
is this going to stay as we get into spring? Are you going to keep it? Because I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen the beard before. I don't think I've ever seen the hair.
No, I haven't had hair like this since I was 12. I'll probably keep it. We'll see how it performs, really.
That's the key.
That's-
Is
that's the
how does
biggest
it
thing.
perform?
That's the biggest thing.
Speaking of perform, how you feeling, man? Obviously, spring training right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers report. This is the time of year where the green light goes on again.
Yeah, I feel good. Working on a bunch of different stuff. Biggest thing is really just getting the body to feel good and getting ramped up. But I feel like I'm on track.
How do you deal in terms of getting yourself ready each and every year? You know, ball players are notorious for always trying to figure out how to get a little bit better. You're probably one of the most consistent guys in our league. Is there as much a focus on finding ways to get better, or is the focus how to continue on the path that you've been on, which is a guy who can get in a lot of innings every year?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the offseason I'm in and, you know, what I'm trying to work on. Like specifically this offseason, I've made a little mechanical adjustment, tinkering with some new pitches. But the bulk of it is just getting my body ready, really. I mean, that's the main focus, mainly. So I kind of know where I need to be in terms of like my velocity and bullpens and building up and all that. So I always like to think I'm adding. I'm definitely working on new pitches and exciting stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I kind of know that my four-seamer and my slider and my curveball are kind of going to be my main pitches.
Right.
So it's like
no matter what, that's my base and foundation, and everything from there is just tinkering and just seeing if I can get a little bit better.
We're talking to... All of a sudden, my mic over there.
There you go.
Sorry. We're talking to Dylan Cease here,
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half.
He made me panic.
Did I look like I panicked?
You panicked a little
Okay.
bit, that's
all
all
right.
right.
Well, if Dylan says I panicked, then I panicked. I'm going to have to ask the question about, and I know you've been asked this today, but your name has been a part of a lot of trade rumors this year. I think Padres fans want you to stay here in San Diego. See, right there? How do you deal with that? Because I would imagine that would be hard.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's my second year in a row dealing with it, so I got experience now. It's just part of the business, I guess. Really, wherever I go, I'm gonna make the best of the opportunity. I love San Diego and I want to be here, so it's like if I don't go anywhere, I love it here. And if they trade me, then I just have to go make the best of it wherever I go.
Now, Dylan, you talked a little bit about working on new pitches and mechanics. For you, how long does a mechanical change take to be something where you don't have to think about it anymore?
Yeah, and that depends. This specific scenario, I'm working on an upper half thing, a glove thing. So I don't know. It's kind of new territory for me.
Yeah. So you're kind of figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, but it really gets to the point where it feels good, and then from there it's just ramping up the intensity. And because anytime you do something at a higher power, higher speed,
yeah,
it's like a new feeling altogether. So I can sit and train it one way, but until I'm throwing 98 with it,
doing it in game speed, yeah.
And a lot of it, is kind of like learning my body, and then I'll throw a pitch, and it's like, oh, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Like specifically, if I'm throwing a four-seam fastball and I'm trying to throw it just through somebody, but it's yanked, it's like, okay,
yeah,
something happened right there. I don't know, something came off. I didn't use my legs.
You could just feel something different about it.
And then you see the shape of the pitch. So a lot of it's just gaining feedback from what the ball's doing, and then trying to manipulate my body to see, like, oh, okay, when I do this, the ball goes this way, and just see if I can't ingrain that.
Now, the other question I have, you also mentioned learning some new pitches.
Yeah.
I would imagine in 2025, with all the technology, it may be a little bit easier to get in the lab and create something because you have all of the kind of technology behind you.
Yeah.
Is it easier to learn a new pitch in 2025 versus maybe when you first came in the pro ball?
Absolutely. We got pitch design labs where you got cameras at every single angle, and
That's so
they see how the
awesome.
ball comes out of your hand. I've been trying to add I've wanted a changeup, not a real arm speed changeup, my whole career, and I'm such a I'm a spinner. I spin the ball, so usually guys who spin it,
you need to be a pronator in order to be a good changeup guy.
Yeah,
okay.
so.
Look at
Tony
with the pronator.
What
is he, a physical therapist all of a sudden? What the heck?
So I've been working on that two-seam, just get something to go this way, because my game is like very vertical. So get something going this way, something that the more pitches you can throw for strikes and the more looks you can give batters, the better off you are. So it doesn't even have to be a 20% pitch. If it's something I use 5%, then I've gotten better.
Right. It gives the hitter another thing they'd have to think about.
Some guys have weaknesses where it's like, for whatever reason, they hit four-seamers at a 450 clip, they hit two-seamers at, a 210. So it's like, even if you have an average two-seam, it's probably going to be better to throw that than keep feeding them four-seams. You know? So it just makes you more versatile.
Talking to Dylan Cease, Padres starting pitcher here on 97.3 The Fan from Padres Fan Fest 2025. And I'm always curious, when you're out there and you're pitching and you maybe hit a rough patch in a start, how much thinking is going on in your head? Or is it more you're just trusting your muscle memory?
I guess it really depends as to why the rough patches happened. A lot of times, honestly, with baseball, there's just starts where your body doesn't feel good and it's not going to come out no matter what you do. It's just a grind game. So with those, I think it's just you just try to compete, and obviously there's always going to be, and a lot of it's in between innings. Now with the pitch clock, you really don't even have time to think.
True.
So a lot of it's just in between innings. Like, man, why? I'm bouncing my slider. Okay, maybe I need to aim it higher. And a lot of times it can be something simple like that. But most of the time, it's best when the thinking is happening in between starts as opposed to on game day. But there's always going to be a little bit of analyzing and trying to adapt.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan, we know you've had a long day, man. We appreciate you coming up and spending some time, and looking forward to seeing you get on the mound again in spring.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Dylan Cease, one of the Padre aces. I have to say, being a pitcher in 2025 would seem to be fun.
That would be cool if you just said, I'd really like to learn a changeup.
Right.
I mean, that is not easy to do, but now you can go do it.
Let's break it down, because you got a little bit of experience in this, right? Even if it's at the collegiate level. Like, so let's say, in high school I threw a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup, right? Mm-hmm. I get to school and they're like, hey, man, we really want you to work on a slider.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I was playing, and even when Chris was playing, right? You'd have to,
somebody would just tell you, hold the ball like this and spin your wrist.
And do this, right?
Yeah. And you'd have to try to do it.
And you'd work on that.
There was certainly no film of it.
Right. You'd work on it relentlessly, and you'd try to get feel. Now, with these cameras, you can, see in real time. I mean, these cameras are so good that, they can catch every inch as you start to turn and when you need to turn. They can tell you how much you're spinning on the... And so... when they talk about getting in the lab and creating something, they can really get out there and do it now.
Seems like, any pitcher worth their salt. I mean, the split finger pitch, that is not something you 100% can learn, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Because if your hand isn't big enough to grip the ball in a split fingered fashion, you just throw that one out. Yeah. You're not going to be able to throw it.
Throwing BP fastballs.
But I would think everybody could learn a changeup, whether it's a circle change, and a circle change is when you hold the ball with your thumb and first finger forming a circle, and then throw it off these three fingers. But anyway, whatever it is, you've got to be able to find like you said, you could practice it. And somebody like Dylan Cease, you give him a changeup, that would be unfair.
That's what he says.
Based on what he already throws.
That's what he's working on. He needs something. And it's funny, he's as he called it, a kind of a natural cutter with him and Joe work the same. Most guys, when they throw, and most of us when we throw, we pronate. As it doesn't feel like that, but your arm is doing kind of turning over. For guys like Joe and Dylan, they tend to finish this way, where they're coming across the baseball. So the changeup for him is something difficult to learn because of his natural kind of hand motion.
He might not be able to.
But this technology and the biomechanics of it all, understanding it, give him a chance to maybe teach his arm how to do some of the things that it's not necessarily used to doing.
By the way, going back in the day when I was pitching, had I had the ability to study film and learn all that stuff, and would have definitely been beneficial. However, I think if they would have actually measured how fast I threw the ball, and if they actually measured my spin rate and my this rate and my that and everything, they would have told me to go do something else. I'm sure that I had no natural ability whatsoever to be a pitcher.
Can you throw that again? We're not picking up any spin on that.
Yeah, we're not picking up. Your spin rate is 0, right? All I could do is figure out was to get some guys out, but I know I didn't do it analytically with any skill of any kind.
Quite frankly, there were very few that did. I mean, that was why baseball was what it was.
It was a little different, right?
Because you guys were, all shapes and sizes, getting out there and being the best versions of themselves.
I see now guys putting videos up on the internet of them throwing an 80-mile-an-hour knuckleball, but it's all inside of a cage, and it's all perfect.
My favorite videos to watch now, and it's indicative of everybody's arm blowing up, is when they got these kids throwing as hard as they can into the net, and there's some guy with a gun there. They're not even throwing it to a catcher; they're just throwing it
into the net,
as hard as they possibly can. That's where we are.
And they put it up online, which is even crazier.
100%. All right, we're into hour number 3 coming up. 4 o'clock hour on the way. Chris versus the Fan. 833-288-0973. Get your call in if you want to play. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
And then Scraby kicks us out.
The Chronicles.
Yep. He gives us the boot. And then it's Scraby from 6 to 7 with the Scraby Chronicles.
What's on the menu for complaint today?
You had a weekend to come up with stuff, so
well,
can only imagine.
Don't you worry, guys. I found some articles that I didn't even put in our rundown because I knew you guys wouldn't touch with the 10-foot pole.
Okay.
Like one of them, the title is "You Darvish sounds like he wants an answer from Roki Sasaki on his Dodgers decision."
Definitely don't want any part of that.
We're going to be talking about why it was said to people that Roki didn't want players to help with the pitch for their teams, but he ended up going to dinner with all the Dodgers players anyway.
He clearly met with Manny and those guys too, though.
But they didn't go to dinner, and I will get to the details.
Chronos is all. It's all nice long runway. For
One of these days, Scraby is going to discover that Roki Sasaki was signed as a Dodger years ago. He's also going to discover that Patrick Mahomes has been told by the National Football League that he will win a third consecutive Super Bowl title no matter what.
It was in the script.
And when Scraby finds all this stuff out, look out, man. We are all going to be really in for it when he comes out and says, I knew it!
Number one, my algorithm has the perfect mix of crazy take and real news.
I would hate to see your algorithm.
Oh, it's great. And then mixed in there is like an airline, like they're going to start allowing bags that are bigger in there. That's part of my algorithm. And then dog stuff is the rest of my algorithm.
It's all coming up on the Scraby Chronicles.
You're the type of client that X loves, where they can just go to town with your algorithm.
Yeah, I see a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, it is interesting. Ever since Elon took over, my algorithm is a lot different, showing me a lot more anger.
Maybe that's you though.
Anger? Somewhat.
I've not seen much anger out of you.
I also, if we're talking about the Chronicles, I'm going to talk about Luka Doncic and how the Padres should use this as a case study of why you should never trade a really good player, a fan favorite, and pull the rug out from underneath your fans because people are unhappy in Dallas.
Yeah, they're unhappy, but as we discussed earlier, I actually think they have a better team.
They're unhappy now, but when they get to see the results of the court.
I think they're unhappy because Luka was like their guy. He was going to retire a Dallas Maverick. He even said he wanted to retire a Dallas Maverick.
You know how many players have ever said
but
that?
But how many players are good enough to make it mean something?
A lot of them.
Luka playing in one uniform.
It's very rare that a player stays with one team. I
get that, especially in the NBA.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. You're absolutely right. But they pulled the rug out from underneath their fans' feet.
Congratulations last night to Tony's favorite, Kendrick Lamar. A week ahead of the Super Bowl halftime performance, he won the bunch of Grammy Awards last night, including the Record of the Year.
Had the Canadian tux on yesterday,
which I just learned about.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a jean jacket
and jeans.
Jean everything.
Jeans everything.
Denim suit.
Denim suit. Kendrick Lamar, the big winner last night. All right, let's see who the big winner is today on Chris versus the Fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
You know, I don't know why, but Tony and I are yawning like it's a symphony.
He started. He's got this thing. It's contagious. I've been yawning ever since I saw him yawn.
Could not sleep last night, so I went to YouTube, which made things worse. So hopefully I get some sleep.
Would you look at on YouTube, Scrape?
Oh, do I really want to admit this?
I don't know if you do or not, but I know.
Well, it was a very interesting video about cockpit voice recorders and the last things they ever captured. All right, let's go into Chris.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
Topic to send you off into La La Land.
Exactly. How do you go to sleep after that?
I like to study.
We're all gonna die.
No, it's mostly.
How does that relax you?
You know what the saddest one was?
I don't want to know.
No,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Absolutely. Who's our first
What was that?
That was me talking over you, trying to tell me.
Yeah, nobody wants.
You have to. Let me get the rules and then the prize, because we have a new prize today, everybody, and I think everybody's going to really like this prize. But first, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that question for free. Here's what you are going to be qualified for: a trip, a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th for Motley Crue. Ooh. That is cool. I would go see Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue.
I met Tommy Lee once.
you're still with us?
It wasn't his doing. It was my doing. He was walking down the street somewhere, and my wife said, "Oh, I want to go meet Tommy Lee. Can you tell him?"
Can you tell him?
So I had to go over to Tommy Lee and ask. I think she wanted a photo with him. He said he politely declined.
What?
He politely
I
declined.
love doing photos.
He was polite about it, but he said if I give one to her, then I'll be here all day.
Believe me, on Saturday I figured that one out.
Yeah, it happened to you Saturday.
Just kidding. Just kidding. That is a crazy story, Chris. I cannot believe that Lori wants a picture with Tommy Lee.
She did.
Did you guys see that Motley Crue? Anyway, we got to get going.
Yeah, see? It'd be your own people.
Yes,
your own
it's
people.
me.
And then guess who gets blamed for it? Me and Chris.
Today it's me. March 28th to April 19th, you qualify for that trip to Las Vegas to see the show, including 2 tickets to the show, plus a hotel stay at Park MGM, and get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM now at Ticketmaster.com. First contestant we're going to go with today. Let's go with Jason. Hello, Jason.
Jason, are you there?
Jason
said, I'm
we
out.
did this the other day. Things were weird. Let's go to Andrew.
Andrew, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Hey, Andrew.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Let's play ball.
First one. Who did the Eagles beat for their last Super Bowl win?
Did we ask this on
I think
Friday?
we did. We have to ask a different
I wasn't
one.
here Friday. If that matters.
Gosh.
Okay.
Wait, no, hold up. We're going to ask you a
We
different
have
one.
to, yes.
We asked that one already.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What number Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes playing in on Sunday?
His personal number.
Yes.
His personal number, I'll say 5.
5.
I'll say you're correct.
I mean, that is insane. He's been in the league for like 8 years.
I don't even think it's
7.
7. Yeah.
7!
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Insane.
Question number 2.
Try 2 only needs 5 more to tie him.
What country does Luka Doncic call home?
Tough.
I want to guess, but if I guess, then I know that Chris is going to eliminate that and guess the right one.
So he's not.
A little
He's playing
strategy.
Playing a game here. I like it.
There's so many of them. Slovakia, Slovenia, a couple others.
Hungary is
Hungary. Slovenia.
Slovenia is correct.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
That was a bit of a
Andrew.
reach. Wasn't sure.
I just read his goodbye to Dallas, and he said, "You guys brought me in as a Slovenian kid to North Texas. It's always going to be my home."
He did not thank the Mavericks
He
organization.
did not. He went
On
out of
his
his
way out the
to
door.
not thank them.
Yeah, he was not pleased.
He was. Hey, but listen, this is.
He's gonna like this, man. When he gets to LA and he's a Hollywood super. I mean, he's a Dallas.
He
You can only go so
he's gonna
far.
like it yet, but he's gonna like it.
He is.
All right.
Gotta stay on that court though.
Next contestant. Don't worry about it, Scrappy. We'll take care of it.
They got a
Over here.
Fat Burger in LA. They got great pizza joints.
As a matter of fact, I think I saw In-N-Out In-N-Out posted at him immediately.
They did. I saw that. We
Which
got
was
better
hilarious.
burgers than Whataburger.
That's hilarious. I do love when brands go at it online.
They're
It's kinda
trolling Luka Doncic.
All right, next contestant. We're gonna go back to another Andrew. Andrew and PB.
Back to back.
Andrew, how's PB out there?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
We're
We're
doing
good,
well.
thanks.
Pretty good.
How you enjoying PB?
Oh, it's cloudy, man. It's cloudy and cold today.
Yeah,
That's
all right. That's all right. Here we go.
Kind of like the heart of the Dallas fans today.
Oh,
Ooh, yes, very
sir.
much. Very much.
What a
very
what
much.
a what a great play on
Dark
words.
and cold. Here we
Yes.
go. First question.
Hey, real quick,
Go for it. What you got?
I'm a first time.
First time
player.
Crowd goes
All right.
crazy.
Question number 2. Where did Joe Burrow play college before LSU?
I want to say, was it South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Gamecocks. No.
Sorry.
He would have represented that Gamecock uniform well.
The Ohio State University.
Ohio State Buckeye.
Sorry about that, Andrew.
I'm
Thanks for checking in. Play again.
Correct.
You never know. I'm capable of missing them. I do a lot
sometimes,
but not that.
Our next contestant is named ATT Tech.
Well, let's find
So
out.
I don't know.
Maybe
who
that
this
stands
is.
for Andrew. Maybe it's a third Andrew in a row.
Who is this ATT Tech?
Hello.
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 Yes.
What's your name?
Oh, it's Jay. I've called before.
Jay.
I'm first time player. No, it's not first time.
Okay.
All right, Jay.
Changing your name.
Here
into
we
the
go.
thing so we know
First
it's you.
question.
Here we go, Jay.
JTT Tech. Let's go.
Our guest Friday was former NFL wide receiver Greg Camarillo. Name just one of the 4 teams he played for.
Carolina Panthers.
Unfortunately,
that's not correct.
I mean, he does sound.
Go
like
ahead,
he's a
Chris.
As
We
much
know
as
you
I
know at
love
least one.
Greg, I don't think I can name more than one.
I named them all on Friday, so
Did
that's
you?
why I'm asking the question.
That's because you researched.
Yeah, Dolphins.
No, it's 'cause I
I'll
know.
say
No, you
Dolphins.
didn't.
I did know.
Dolphins
Yes, I
is
was on
correct.
a podcast with him for over 100 episodes.
Where else did he play?
Vikings,
Saints, Vikings,
Chargers.
Chargers.
Yes.
Oh, Chargers.
And he
yes.
played 8 seasons. Don't take, because if you count on one time during the podcast, I went to his Pro Football Reference page and I was like, "Oh, you played 7 seasons?" No, I played 8. And I was like, "No, it says 7." He's like,
You said he said I played 8 and you said no.
"No." I was like, "On here it says 7." He was like, "Hey, I was injured 1 year. Okay, I'm gonna take my 8 years."
You damn right
You
he should
should.
take his 8.
So Jay, got it
Tiebreaker.
wrong.
We're already a moment behind. We should at least get one more contestant. We've only had 2 contestants today, haven't we?
No, that was
Because
like
Scravy
4.
talked for 10 minutes before the game.
Okay, fair. If I'm gonna take shots at you, you could take shots at me. Let's go to a fellow Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hey,
How
Chris.
are you, my friend?
Hello.
Hello.
First question.
Here we go.
These questions are like all over. What team?
It's Scraby's phone.
What team does Brian Hayes play for?
Brian Hayes. Not even a sport, huh? Like
Not even.
an idea?
Not even a
let's
sport.
go-
This is not a question.
This is not a
Let's
question.
go basketball with Houston Rockets.
There we go.
Houston Rockets.
Should we ask him another one? Was that unfair?
Well, why don't you tell him the sport?
How about we give you the sport?
Give him the
baseball.
sport. He's a baseball player. Brian Hayes.
Brian Hayes. I believe that's Pittsburgh Pirates.
There you go. Oh, there we go.
Boom.
Well done, Chris.
Bad
comeback.
question. Bad
Do we
question,
feel like
Chris.
there was, some
Good
Google
comeback.
on
No,
the-
there was no.
Get outta
Googling
here,
going on.
Scraby.
All right.
He didn't even know the sport. Here we go. Question number 2. Which team did Taylor Rogers get traded to by the Giants last week?
I hate these guys. The Twins. Drive me nuts.
You already know.
I don't know that he knows what team, but
Minnesota Twins.
Twins. That's a tough break because he did play for the Twins
at
before
one
he
point.
came out here. I think he got traded this time to the Reds. Yeah. Sorry about that, Chris, but thanks for playing.
Did you know that he played for the Twins at one point?
yeah, because
there?
that's when the Padres acquired
Padres got him from
Yeah.
the Twins, yeah.
Remember,
you were
couldn't
quite
pitch-
suspicious there, buddy.
Remember when Robert Suarez started the game and he gave up a home run and everybody wanted him gone for the rest of the year from the closer spot against the Diamondbacks?
I do remember
and
that.
Taylor
That's the
Rogers
first game
couldn't
of the
throw
season.
because he got traded that morning. Yes.
All right, we need a
we
tiebreaker.
We need to go tiebreaker. Let's go to Caesar.
Hello, Caesar.
Hey, Caesar.
What up, players?
I thought it was this one. This.
All right,
Cesar,
Caesar. You
sorry.
know how the tiebreaker works, correct?
Oh yes.
Sounds like he
We're
does.
going
All right.
Luka Doncic.
There it is.
A
Only 5 seasons to work with, right?
But lots of numbers in those 5 seasons. All right, Chris. Let me see here. Where's his totals? There we are. How many points has he scored in his career?
How many seasons? Sorry?
7.
7. I don't know points too well. Points per game. Well, he's got 30 points a game.
Yeah.
Times, I'm going to say 70 games because he's got to miss some games. So that's 2,100. How many years? 7? Sorry.
7 years.
15,000.
15,000 points. Cesar, is the actual answer higher or lower?
I was thinking about 14, so I'll go lower.
Lower.
He got
That
it.
is correct. Stay right there, Cesar. He had 12,089 points so far in his career.
28 point something per game score.
Let me go.
But
28.6.
But he's never played more than I think 64 games in a season.
Well, that's
no.
right.
That's not
I should have put that
He's
into
played
my.
more than 64.
His rookie year, he played 72.
Okay. After that,
but he's been
After
eating.
that, it was
he's
like
been eating
70.
Whataburger since.
70 is the most he's played.
70, but mostly he's played 61, 66, 65, 66. So in the middle of his career, he's in the 60s.
So he better get ready to be.
How has he never been higher in the MVP voting? The highest he's ever been is 3rd.
Because he misses games.
He only missed 12 games last year. That doesn't seem like a lot.
It's not. But
I was going to say the defense matters, but it doesn't because Jokic wins it every year, and he doesn't guard anybody.
All right.
That's also very true. All right.
So the Eastern European players don't play defense, is what you're telling me?
I wouldn't say every one of them. You're using 2 players as an example there. That's not fair.
Well, isn't that representative of the league? I know we need to break.
So let's do it.
From the
Gravy had us run well beyond the time. Talked a lot in that segment instead of getting to business, so we're going to get back on track here.
Got to keep my mouth shut because it's all true.
Myles Garrett, the incredibly talented defensive end of the Cleveland Browns, finally says he's had enough. He wants
They asked
out.
him after the season about this, if he was going to request a trade to leave Cleveland after they went 3-14, and he gave the usual gobbledygook. Gobbledygook.
But he kind of sounded like he was leaning towards getting out of there.
He was.
You could
but
hear it in his
He wouldn't
voice.
quite say
Yeah.
it, but today he confirmed it.
He used, he wrote it out. It was like a
It was
letter.
posted on his social media and stuff.
He said, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And the goal fuels me today more today than ever.
Yeah.
My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life.
I'm sure.
These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today.
It's the toughest decision for everybody who does this.
It really
and it
is.
just isn't that tough.
Let me finish real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Why I loved calling the city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages, won't allow me to be complacent.
Good.
The goal was never to go to Cleveland, from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind,
to which Cam Newton said, "What?
I have requested to be traded for the Cleveland Browns."
Yeah, he put that in bold.
You know what the Cleveland Browns said? They said, "We are not entertaining any offers."
I can't imagine they would.
For Myles Garrett. Sorry.
The Cleveland Browns have to be the dumbest organization in all sports. Number one, they have about $200 million tied up in Deshaun Watson, who no one even knows if he'll ever play again. Number two, they aren't getting better each year. Number three, Myles Garrett, if you're not going to get anything for him, I bet you he sits out the year.
Here's the other thing. Cleveland may have an out, according to some people out there, with the Deshaun Watson thing. This last injury of the Achilles apparently was not football related. That's what I read.
What?
Yeah.
I saw it happen on the field.
No. He re-injured it again.
Oh, the re-injury.
The re-injury.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we saw him hurt it on the field. He had the surgery, and then he did it again.
Yes, I forgot about the second one.
So, we'll see. But to your point, let's go ahead.
It's a good one. It's a good. Cleveland is terrible. But here's the thing. They were terrible this year. 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs. And I find it interesting. I understand where he's coming from based on this season. But how can you, in the NFL, where a team like Washington goes from 4 wins to the NFC Championship, actually guarantee that you're going to get traded somewhere to a team that's going to win a Super Bowl as opposed to where you are now?
You can't guarantee that.
You can't guarantee any of it.
You can guarantee some stability, even if your team sucks, right? Washington got rid of their ownership. They bring in new people, and all of a sudden, voila, they are a playoff team. Cleveland has been Cleveland for quite some time.
They were in the play. I'm just saying they were in the playoffs 2 years ago. They had a game at Houston.
They
They
were
were
a nut every once in a while.
They were favored. They lost to the Texans. I don't know.
Well, that was with Joe Flacco, a quarterback too. But
Cleveland could go back to being 12-5 next year. They catch a lucky break on something.
Do you really believe Cleveland can get back to 12-5 next year?
I don't think so, but I would have never predicted it for, Washington or several other teams each year. I would have predicted the 49ers to be last. I mean, let's say if I was Myles Garrett and I asked for a trade last year and they traded me to the 49ers, I'd have said, wow, this is awesome. And then I'd have finished last.
Yeah, but you
can't guarantee anything in that league.
You can swallow finishing last when your 5 best players all go down hurt, and you guys don't have the same year. Nothing happened with Cleveland. It was the same team as it was, except Deshaun Watson was healthy for once, right? He got hurt last year is when they took off. They weren't doing anything before he got when he had the job, and so. I don't know. I think he's been there long enough to see what will be a fourth quarterback this year. That he's had Baker, he's had Flacco, he's had Jameis Winston, he's had Deshaun Watson. It'll be somebody new this year. So I mean, listen, I think
Johnny Manziel. No, too early.
I think that might have been a little too early. But either way, I think it's regardless of it just being Myles. If this were anybody else saying, "Hey, I'm tired of being in Cleveland. We wouldn't even think twice about it. It'd be like,
I want to congratulate Myles Garrett on the 2 tackles he had in Cleveland's blowout loss to Houston last.
I don't even know why you bringing that up.
Because he was in a position to win something. He did nothing about it. Now he had a bad year and he wants things out. If every guy that went 3-14 traded, the whole league would be on the move. I don't know. Cleveland's not a great place.
Everybody's not Myles Garrett. That's I mean,
all right.
Nobody's jumping in and clamoring for you to come over there.
He doesn't use this card like I don't know, a certain Dolphin wide receiver Tyreek Hill says after the game, "I'm out," and that's not a shot at you, Chris.
It sounded like it.
No, it's not, because I know you don't like Tyreek, but Tyreek is just using that as like a thing. Myles Garrett takes it seriously. He doesn't want to officially ask for a trade until today, apparently. He'll be great on the 49ers. So.
Listen to you already asking for...
I'll give you Debo for Myles Garrett straight up.
That would be silly.
For Never mind.
Let's get to break. Big 5 on the way. More Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods on the...
Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Guess which NFC team that lost in the playoffs is crying about the tush push?
Good, it's not my team. They didn't make the playoffs.
They still crying about the tush push?
Green Bay Packers outgoing team president Mark Murphy says he's not a fan of the play. There's no skill involved. And he cited the whole situation with the commander guy jumping over the line and making a mockery of it, he says, and that the Eagles almost got a touchdown via the unfair act rule. He's trying to use all that.
He just made up an unfair act rule.
Well, no, remember the referee said we're going to award them a touchdown if you keep jumping offside? Anyway, he says it's bad for the game. We should go back to prohibiting the push of a runner.
How about
I don't
you just
disagree
stop
with
it?
that.
I think that there is a lot of skill.
I don't hate. I see the tush push. I don't mind. What I do mind is when a guy's at the 4-yard line and an offensive lineman pulls him backwards into the end zone. That seems to be overdoing what they intended for the rule. So maybe they'll look at that. But
I don't know if you can let. I think if you let one go,
you got to let the
other go.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it's as you said. It's a lot of crying about stopping
Sour
something
grapes.
that your team can't do.
I was among the people who said if I can't beat him, join him.
Yep.
That's why I drafted Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, so I got advantage of that all year.
I do think that the pushing of the runner, I maybe if they didn't allow the quarterback on the tush push, but like all the other runners could be pushed, running backs.
Why? Why the
because
other
I
running
can see
backs?
why the
running
pushing
back,
of the runner is a problem.
But why allow for it to be okay for the running back and not the quarterback? Quarterback is like your most protected asset.
Because I guess you have to, like, a running back is going to run up into the line, and there's a way for him to get through. Like with the tush push, it's just let's line up right behind him and just push as hard as we can.
That's first of all. Let's not get a twist here. Jalen Hurts probably squats more than anybody in the league.
I think he squats 700 pounds.
So they're not just using a quarterback like, hey,
I get that.
Be some damsel in distress as they push you over.
Let me tell you something. If they ran that once for Tua, he'd be out for 6 months.
Right. Matter of fact, they didn't even do it with Jalen Hurts when he had the fresh off the concussion.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't do it
They
at all.
avoided it. Yeah, exactly.
Because he dislocated his kneecap the one time he did it.
Exactly. So
yeah, I don't know that you can outlaw that. So, all right, let's get traffic and then your Big Five, my friend.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Several new problems we're dealing with. A hit-and-run crash on westbound 52 right before Convoy, not showing if any lanes are blocked. Also traveling on South 805 H Street off-ramp, another hit-and-run crash. Stalled vehicle on the transition ramp southbound 15 to the East 8 connector. Also traveling on East 54 before the 805. There is a collision involving a couple vehicles. Looks like that is mostly over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, everybody. Our boss Adam on the chat says, on the biggest play of the Bills season, Josh Allen got stuffed trying the tush push.
Nah, he didn't do a tush push. He did a left guard push, and it didn't work for the 19th time in the game.
What I'll say to that is, he did not get stuffed. The referees made the wrong
He got
call.
stuffed, Scraby.
That
Move
was a
on.
First down. First
By the
down.
way, before you get into the Big Five, I have a very unimportant Padre signing.
Okay.
It's not going to move shatter, the earth or anything.
Okay.
But I'll mention it after your Big Five. Go.
Oh.
Number 5.
Making me wait now.
I'm making you wait.
All right. Cooper Kupp, Rams wide receiver, tweeted this out about 25 minutes ago. He said, quote, I was informed that the team will be seeking a trade immediately and will be working with me and my family to find the right place to continue competing for championships. I don't agree with the decision and always believed it was going to begin and end in LA. Still, if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, there are so many things that are out of your control, but if it's how you respond to those things that you will look back on and remember. So he apparently has been
How
told...
lucky are you?
Why?
That you were able to fill your number 5 that you had empty there with this one.
Oh,
right?
I had plenty of different topics. I decided to go with this one over the Justin Tucker story, which...
yeah, I can't be mad at that one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what he'd said. The Rams are going to be looking to move him. We knew this. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. If they don't cut him or move him, then he holds like a $28 million cap hit. But Chris, you're up first. Where would he fit best in the NFL?
Cooper Kupp?
Yep.
I'll take him. I mean, I don't think about any other team. I'm trying to think of a guy that can run good short underneath routes that Tua can get the ball to.
That's
and who's
Jalen
always
Waddle.
open.
Jalen Waddle.
He drops too many. I think Cooper Kupp fits pretty much anywhere. I still think he's a really good receiver, and it's just one of those things where your contract kind of moves you out of town. But I think he'll have plenty of people that want him.
Yeah.
I would think.
I would think too. Tony, where would he fit best?
Oh. He'd fit best in Baltimore.
I was just about to say that.
No more for them.
I was just about to
We can't
say
keep
that.
adding to that squad.
They need a guy
They don't have
underneath.
one.
They don't have anybody
They
like
have a
that.
long shot, Zay Flowers,
And
or
they
Sean
got the-
Bateman.
and
You
they got
can't
the
have
tight end.
everything. Don't go to Baltimore, please.
Go to Baltimore, Cooper.
Someone is saying the Chargers, but I mean that would help.
It would help.
Because-
He wouldn't have to go anywhere either.
Exactly.
He'd stay in the same place he's at.
But I think the Ravens are the perfect spot.
I
for
think he
him.
would be great there.
He would. All right.
How much better do we have to make the Ravens before they can finally break through?
Until they knock off
I guess so.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Oh, what? Oh, I don't even
4
want to
straight.
put into a world where Cooper Kupp is on the Chiefs.
Oh man, that would suck.
Yeah. I was reading over the weekend about how great the Dodgers are, according to the Dodger bloggers, but LA Times reporter Dylan Hernandez is not afraid to write what we are all thinking. Shohei Ohtani is coming back from 2 significant injuries this coming season. One, a torn labrum from sliding into second in the World Series. The second, his second Tommy John operation. Now, we may remember a torn labrum altered the career trajectory of former Dodgers outfielder Matt Kemp and Cody Bellinger, another former Dodgers outfielder. So, Tony, why is Ohtani immune from injury concerns?
Leave it to Dylan
Yeah.
Hernandez to ask the tough question.
Yeah.
And he brings up a very good point. Shoulders and those 2 guys that he mentioned, Matt and Cody Bellinger, Matt Kemp and Cody Bellinger, were position players. The shoulder is a big deal when it comes to the swing. I know we don't think of it, but it really is. It with a bad one, your swing can't be right. Why is he immune to the injury concern? Because of all of the stuff he's accomplished in between the last injury he had. Remember, he's had Tommy John once before.
Yeah.
Missed some time. And what he's done since has been something quite literally that many of us have never seen. I'd say all of us, because ain't many people around that saw the Babe play. But none of
Chris,
us.
what was that like?
Well, it's fun to watch him walk around the bases.
None of us have
Stop
seen
for his whiskey break between second and third.
whiskey and cigar
Yeah.
break. None of us have seen anything that Ohtani's been able to accomplish. So I think that's why we aren't paying attention to the injury. Not to mention he tore his labrum and then finished the season, all of it, while doing so. So I think it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But it's certainly something to be watching when the season rolls around. What that swing look like? And he's pitching this year.
Yeah, they said he's gonna.
Do we remember which arm it was? His left arm, right?
Is he?
Because he slides. Yeah, his left arm. So that is back shoulder is super important. You got to be able to hold that backside. The shoulders got to be able to hold it.
Everybody just got a tutorial on the bat, which is great. I loved it.
So, yeah, it's something to be watching for sure.
Chris, why is Shohei Ohtani immune from injury concern?
Because they're busy chasing him around the casinos.
Oh,
Yowzas! Just for you, Scrape.
Thank
Just for
you.
Well, he's evidently not. Dylan Hernandez has pointed it out, so Dylan does it. It's as good as a problem.
Dylan not afraid.
Yeah, Tony's got it. I mean, the guy's come back. He's superhuman from everything, so that's what we just kind of can assume he is.
Right.
So we don't really we just assume he's going to hit 50 home runs and win 20 games.
Like, just think about this. Like, Mike Trout was doing.
Mike Trout gets the same treatment, and he's hurt himself.
Well, he was, right? He had done so much in that time that the first couple injuries, like, okay, he'll be back, no worries. But after it starts to happen a few times, you're like, all right, well, maybe this is a trend. So I don't know. I certainly hope that's not the case for Ohtani. I mean, he's one of the best baseball players we have in our league. So
I will not hope for an injury.
But you won't be mad.
I won't. You're right. I will not be upset if there is an injury, but I will not hope for an injury.
Number 3.
Now, we heard Stephen A. Smith plead with LeBron James as a father to stop putting his son Bronny in the spotlight. And Stephen A. actually last week had more to say on his radio show about this. He even said he was contacted by someone close to LeBron.
You know, I was on First Take, my day job on ESPN earlier this morning, and I spoke about this, and I felt the need to elaborate even further because a couple of people text me and pissed me off, and they know who they are.
They know who they are.
People close to LeBron James talking to me about questioning him as a father. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's gotten to a point where this LeBron sensitivity is just beyond the pale. You call him the second best player in the history of the game, you're insulting him because you said he's not the GOAT. You're saying that at age 40, we've never seen anybody do what he does, but pointing out at times how he may not have hustled back on defense in a key pivotal moment, and that's a problem.
All right, this clip goes on, but it's just Stephen A. basically saying the sensitivity of LeBron James is going higher and higher in his mind. Let's see, Chris is up first. Do you think this is all for show, or is this real?
What,
between Stephen A. and
this?
LeBron?
Oh,
because they do have a clash, or at least
I don't think
genuine dislike of each other.
I don't think Stephen A. Smith does anything for show. I think he backs up pretty much everything he says. Whether you agree with him or not is up to you. But, I mean, I've seen Stephen A. Smith on the Bill Maher show talking politics as well as anybody can talk politics. He backs up pretty much everything he says. He's very much in demand to share his opinions on a variety of different things. And, so I don't think this is for show, no.
Tony?
I don't think it's for show either. I don't know that LeBron feels the same exact way that Stephen A. does about this. Remember, these are people that are supposedly close to LeBron that are texting him. It's not LeBron texting him like, "Hey man, why are you talking about my son?" or anything like that. But I also agree with Chris though. I mean, Stephen A's been in business a long time. You don't get to this point by just making stuff up. And
Skip Bayless.
Yeah. a la Skip Bayless. But
Maybe you do get to this point by making stuff up.
I take that back. So yeah, I don't think it's made up. I think it's probably there's some realness to this.
Number 2.
Slow play on the PGA Tour is being talked about more and more and more. And
Including from our guy.
Charlie Hoffman said something earlier today. And when I mean talked about, I mean public shaming by fellow golfers. In Rory McIlroy's dominant win
Love
at
how
Pebble
he threw
Beach
that piece
over
in
the
there,
weekend.
Chris.
Tom Kim was in the spotlight this week. On one shot, he took a full minute to hit a shot, and it promptly went out of bounds, which led to some criticism. There has been talk of putting out a list of slowest players each and every week. Tony, would this sort of public shaming get them to play faster?
I don't know. Does that allow you to be heckled more? Like, what is the consequence of being on this list other than your fellow golfers?
That's a good question, but I think heckling would increase. Like, hey, you need another couple minutes, or you're just gonna get your shot, type of thing.
That'll move them. That'll definitely move them faster, for sure.
I've watched paint dry faster than you.
Keep trying there, buddy. I do like the idea of public shaming, although I don't know how much shame they would feel in this.
Like make them play in like a chicken outfit or something.
Like I don't know if you're gonna really be able to move the needle. Like
you have to carry a sandwich board over your shoulders that says "I play slow."
Yes.
Walk up and down the course.
That would be funny.
That would be cool, but I don't know what the answer. I don't know if this is actually gonna do anything.
Chris.
I don't know. I mean, can you put a clock out there on the course at every hole? I mean, that doesn't seem right. I honestly think you bring a few of these guys either in or you through their representatives. You say, hey, look, pick it up. We need you to pick it up. If you can't pick it up and there continues to be issues, we may have to levy a fine. Hit them in the pocketbook, but first warn them. I think everybody can speed it up a little if they're told to.
I mean, I watched that.
Anyway.
I watched that Tom Kim shot, and I'm just like, dude.
Yeah,
hit the ball,
that's
and then
too
he
much.
hits the ball, it goes out of bounds, and I thought, why did I watch this? Because you just spent the last minute.
You should
and then
be
hit it out of
able to
bounds.
like create all kinds of noise when they do get ready to hit on their backswing.
Oh, that would be great. Just a bunch of air horns.
They only get quiet for 10 seconds. After that, anything goes.
A bunch of people yelling from their shanties. I think a list might put some guys on the clock, because then the guys in the locker room are probably like, hey, dude.
I know you like golf, but we still got one more we got to get to, buddy.
I don't think they need a list because I think all the golfers already know who the slow players are. That they know.
Not Rory McIlroy. Dominant win, not slow at all.
You see my eyes roll in the back of my head when you said that?
There was a scuffle in the Arizona State basketball game over the weekend, and ASU coach Bobby Hurley refused the post-game handshake in this game. Former Wildcat Richard Jefferson tweeted, quote, "Hey, Bobby, you still acting like a clown. He's always been this way from my days working at the Pac-12. Feel free to share with him," end quote. So, Richard Jefferson, not a fan of Bobby Hurley. Now, Tony, I think...
No, it's Chris.
Chris, you're up first. You love the Hurley brothers. You're a big fan of them. One of them is Danny Hurley. The other is Bobby. Which Hurley is the worst Hurley?
Oh, it's not even close. The Connecticut coach is one of the worst I've ever seen. However, having said that, Bobby Hurley acts like a fool all the time as well. In this case, there was a scuffle on the floor. I think a player hit somebody late in the game. Not hit him, but I mean, bumped into him or whatever. There was a bit of an issue, and I mean, come on, you're a baby if you don't shake hands after that. But they got beat, and Bobby Hurley's a poor sport, just like his brother.
Which Hurley, Tony, is the worst Hurley?
I'm just going to say Bobby because I couldn't stand him when he was at Duke.
He's bad, yeah. He's just a crybaby.
I don't know what kind of dude he is, but
if you ever see him coach, you're not going to like him any better.
Can you imagine, the childhood of the household when those
their
kids
dad
were
was a
kids?
famous big-time coach back in the day, but they didn't learn.
It got pretty rough in that household,
it's
I bet.
kind of showing that his dad wasn't there much.
Padres have...
Hey, all right, here we go!
The Padres have signed a former first-round draft choice. I'll tell you next.
Wow.
And as they build their...
There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now,
we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec.
Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Does the name Forrest Wall mean anything to you guys?
He's a great actor, I think.
Great actor?
Nope.
Nope. Doesn't mean anything to you, Chris.
He's a celebrity chef.
Forrest Wall.
Oh, he has a Netflix show. He has a Netflix show.
That's not all.
No, he could be the starting left fielder on opening day for your San Diego Padres. He is I don't think that's really probable, but the Padres have indeed signed Forrest Wall to a minor league contract.
Former
Forrest
first-rounder.
Wall was a first-round draft choice of the Rockies in 2014. Took him quite a while to get to the big leagues. He made it in 2023 with the Braves. Last year he played for the Braves and the Marlins. Not a whole lot, but he did play some. He does hold in 45 career at-bats a .311 career batting average.
There you go.
So he's kind of like, he's very similar to your dad, I would say. .311 career batting average. Forrest Wall, the newest Padre. He is an outfielder.
There you have it.
Hopefully we'll hear from him again. He'll make a little noise. You never can tell.
I got to ask you guys, like, when you hear about a former first-round pick, because during the Scraby Show on Friday, or the Chronicles, whatever you want to call it, on Friday...
I like that you're finally coming around.
Because more people are calling it that. There was a fake trade out there, and I wanted to bring it up because it wasn't like something that I thought the Padres would ever do. It was Michael King for 3 guys on the Tigers, and one of those guys was Spencer Torkelson, who was the #1 overall pick. How long does that, in your mind, last? Like, how long can you say, hey, we get Spencer, he's still got that first-round pick pedigree?
I think it lasts longer in the minor leagues. You know,
Yeah.
an organization will, understanding that you were once a first-round
They're going to
pick,
give you a bunch of
they're going to
shots.
give you more shots. Because the reality is, typically most first-rounders are graded first-rounders across the league. So they all will be in somewhat agreement that this kid's a first-rounder. But once you get to the big league,
you better just get it done, right?
It just doesn't matter.
I always felt that way about the NFL. You can be a #1 pick, but when they start training camp, you get a piece of tape across your helmet with your name on it.
That's right.
And it doesn't say first rounder. You're just one of the guys there. You got to make the team get the job done.
That was always the thought, coming up through the minor leagues. First, for 1, 2, 3 rounds, you're going to get more opportunity than most, even if you messed up. But once you get past the AA level, it stops mattering as much. You gotta actually put down the actual work. You gotta get the actual results you're looking for, and then once you get to big leagues, it truly doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know. This writer, I have no idea what makes people think that the Padres would trade Michael King for Spencer Torkelson and 2 guys. Like I don't
know
understand.
who are the other 2 guys. You just 2 guys that we don't know.
A catcher and then a relief pitcher.
What we do know about everybody now
is that they're all full of crap.
They will write and say
That's
anything.
true.
Basically,
That's true.
I can't even exclude anybody no more.
No, that's right. That's right.
Everybody is out to get the click.
Well, he got my click.
He got you.
And he got many other clicks because I read it to everyone here. I'll give you those guys right now.
Well, while he's finding those guys out, we will have Xander Bogaerts back at shortstop. We will, at least at the start of spring. Jake Cronenworth will also move. He'll go to second base.
Spencer Torkelson will play first base after he's acquired from the Tigers.
It was Ty Madden, a starter pitcher, and then a catcher first baseman, Josue Briceño.
How about you give me Jack Flaherty and Spencer Torkelson?
No, he's back.
He just signed with the Tigers, so let's get him.
How about giving us the green kid that you got over there in Detroit? You give us him, we can throw you Michael King, and we call it even.
Yeah.
Michael King, Jack Flaherty, Torkelson.
Green.
Give
us all 3.
I want someone to pay me to come up with ridiculous trades.
Well,
like
just
this.
write them and just write it and tweet it out. I mean,
I'm
you'll
not
be
a
doing the
reporter,
same thing that
though.
everybody else is doing.
I guess you're right.
I mean, somebody's going to be right at some point, but it's hard to put much stock in a lot of it right now.
It is.
I mean, I'm honestly...
It's just speculation.
Honestly, if Dylan Cease ends up getting traded, my #1 reaction to that is going to be surprise. Despite the fact he's been mentioned so many times, I still don't necessarily think that that's what they, want to do.
I'm
Strengthen one position and weaken another is not a way to get better.
Yeah.
And as Harold Reynolds said, you're going to strengthen in the outfield and weaken at pitching? That doesn't make sense. So, I don't know that I'm in a hurry to trade Dylan Cease, but we'll see.
You should. I don't know that they're in a hurry to trade any of those guys.
Yeah.
But you're trying to find the best way possible to, get this roster filled out in a way that
I agree with that
is competitive.
Got to definitely do that.
What were we talking? Were we talking about something in USA? Were we talking in USA sports here recently?
USA. I don't like Team USA.
Yeah. Did we say anything?
Well, I don't. What sport?
I don't know. But somebody got a
Pick
text.
one. Curling?
Well, we talked figure skating Team USA last week.
Never
Was it
mind.
today?
But we want to go.
Never mind. Go ahead.
That's not where we want to go. Chris, did you have any thoughts on Michael King agreeing with the Padres? You were out on Friday, and that's when it happened. So
I'm excited.
All right.
I mean, I want to make sure he stays. Like I just said, I don't want any of these guys going. I was happy about that.
Okay, great.
Commissioner Roger Goodell met with
That's
the
where
media
I was going to go
today.
next.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's where I thought we were going to, because he said a lot of things. It was his yearly State of the Union
Once
address.
again, Chris has not listened in the break, but okay.
Well, I know what you said in the break, but we have 7 minutes still to fill.
What did you say in the break?
I said Goodell at
Yeah, I know what you
5:20.
want to do, but we're not going to do it. We were out of stuff to talk about.
We ran out.
That's why they pay you guys the big bucks.
And I'm going, and I made a decision.
Too. We shift, and now we're going to Roger Goodell.
No critical thinking from you two.
Oh, listen to you.
No critical thinking.
How come the mic only doesn't work when you're out on remote?
Okay, good point. Good point. Good point.
Exactly. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No, anyway, I think the thing he said a few things. One was about diversity and DEI, and this is a very touchy subject, right? With the things that are going on in our country right now. Goodell said, "quote: Our policies have been designed to be well within the law, well within the practice. There are no quotas in our system. This is about opening that funnel and bringing the best talent into the NFL." He was asked about the Rooney Rule and all of that.
Right.
So, and then that's kind of a yearly topic. But I think maybe, it seems to land a little bit more with what's happening out there. The other thing he was asked about is Scraby's. In fact, I think Scraby asked the question.
He flew down there and got this one in.
He was honestly asked about the perception that the Chiefs get benefits in officiating and the theory that the NFL is scripted.
Yes.
Imagine actually asking the commissioner.
I can't
this
imagine
question.
asking that, but God bless the soul who decided he was going to be that
went
person.
for it.
Who did we have a publication that? Do you know who asked that? Scrape, you usually are on this. Kind of stuff.
That exact question?
Yeah.
No, but I'll find it out.
See what you can come up with. Goodell said, and I'm going to give him credit because I think he answered it about as well as you can. Said, I think those theories are things that happen in social media. As you say, it's not your theory, but it is out there. Nobody wants it to be their theory. I think it reflects a lot of the fans' passion. That's a good angle to go with.
That's a great angle.
It really is. I think it's also a reminder how important officiating is. The men and women that do it are outstanding. They have the highest possible standards. It's ridiculous for anyone who might take it seriously, but at the end of the day, it's something we always continue to work on. That's really all he can say about it. I mean, I did. I called Clete Blakeman and told him to move the ball back. That would be a classic.
You guys, we heard the audio last week.
We heard the audio.
We did. I told you. I found that. I think it's ridiculous to ask him if it's scripted, for sure, but I think as the commissioner of the league, you have to address things that your fans are thinking.
He does have to address it. I don't think he minded addressing it.
He didn't, and he handled it better. He handled it really well. He didn't call his fan base idiots.
Yeah,
for
no, this is stupidity.
Right.
Next question.
Right.
Because it is something that
but he
concerns
did.
people at the moment. He also talked about the 18-game season being a possibility. We know fans love football. They want more football, but we have to be incredibly sensitive and smart with the balance and how we deal with that. Yeah, that part's a bunch of bull.
Like, you want the 18-game season.
Just put it in.
Just say it.
Put it in already.
You don't intend to balance anything.
And
you're
the notion
playing
that
more games.
The notion that you care about the health of these players
stop.
is lip service.
And with that, I recognize my fault in this. I'm pointing to myself.
Yeah.
I tune in every Sunday.
You consume.
I consume it, even though I know it isn't probably a good thing that they're playing these extra games. I need it. However, I'm not also on stage telling everybody, yes, we want the 18-game season, but we also have to balance, everything. No, you're not balancing.
And now we have Tuesday night football, and you play on Sunday. You're going to have to play on Tuesday. Right. Our fans have really wanted that, but we have to balance that.
We got to balance the concern. The Chiefs and the Texans, I believe, played 3 games in 11 days.
They did.
Which is crazy.
That's nuts.
You're just asking for more injuries.
That's nuts.
That's not fair, schedule-wise. But I've been saying this for years. You guys have been telling me I'm crazy for years. The NFL is getting too big.
Saturated?
Too big.
There's going to be too many games. He was asked about an international Super Bowl. He said, yeah, I could see the NFL getting an international franchise and then having a Super Bowl.
It won't get the support.
By the way, Scrabe,
I think that's where Americans draw the line.
Tony will take us into break.
Maybe.
Tony will take us into break, but before he does, I just want you to let me know the next time you wake up on a Sunday morning in the fall, have nothing planned, but don't touch the TV to watch any football. I'd like to know when that happens.
It's never.
It's never going to.
It's never going to happen.
No. Well, do players get paid for those extra games? Like, if they went to 17, do they get an extra week of pay?
I'm not sure how the NFL
I don't know how
works.
that works either. But
I think they would get an extra pay. I mean, their salary is just drawn out over 18 games.
Yeah, I can't see the players liking that.
Like, we're going to need to renegotiate.
But I don't think 18 games is necessary.
It's not necessary.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop them.
Like, it takes less.
17 games wasn't necessary.
It takes less pressure off of teams to actually have to play well during the regular season because you have so many games that you can lose and still make the playoffs.
Let's get to break. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side. Here's some traffic.
From the 855.
15 minutes away, maybe 10 or 15 minutes from announcing today's biggest fan. Stay tuned. Hopefully you've signed up for that chance to wind up in a Padre Petco Park suite with 20 of your closest friends for a ball game this season. Get signed up. 97.3 fansd.com/biggest fan.
97.3 thefansd.com/biggest fan.
Right.
I thought I yawned, and so I maybe my ears popped, so I didn't hear you say the. So that's why I didn't say anything.
It's because he didn't.
No.
Chris is he's going to hurl something at my head today.
No, the good thing is the good thing is I don't hear most of it. This half-hour segment is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Ugh. But Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Speaking of AI, we talked about Kendrick Lamar winning the Record of the Year last night at the Grammys, much to Tony's delight. One of the competing bands with Kendrick Lamar for Record of the Year was the Beatles.
Oh, AI.
Yeah. They made a new song. I don't even quite know how that works. Somebody out there is a little, more in tune with it can tell me, but
they can use elements to help with the song. Yeah.
And they are now saying that's up for awards.
It was up for Best Record of the Year.
Did they realize that, those guys don't actually sing anymore?
Paul McCartney sings.
Still sings.
Okay, well, the other two.
I think he's still on it. I think it's the other.
This
Beatles
weirds me out.
It's Paul McCartney was on it, and I think Ringo Starr was on it, and then they AI George Harrison and John Lennon.
I mean, I know how they do it. They take all of their voice.
I don't get it,
they probably just run all of their lyrics that they've ever sang through, and then they can make that voice. But I gotta hear
it. It is
song.
creepy though, for sure.
That would be a little creepy to me, but anyway,
you should not be eligible for an award.
I kind of feel the same way.
Real human beings are actually putting out music, and then AI, what?
Yeah,
our world is going to
you call
hell in a handbasket.
You call
everyone.
Chapel Roan a real human being?
Who?
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know who.
She was one of the nominees for Best Record as well.
Oh,
she's a little out there.
What's her name?
I'm a fan. I actually have a couple of her songs.
What's her name?
Chapel Roan, ROAN. She won an award last night. She's a new. I think she won Best New Artist.
I saw her last night.
I think she won Best New Artist. So she's kind of an up and comer.
I'm getting way too old because I've never heard of Chapel Roan in my life.
How about me knowing
That
it?
is crazy,
right?
My guy Scraby said, "Wow."
I mean, I've never seen this woman in my life.
All right, here's a story that I'd rather not get too deep into, but it's going to be embarrassing to the New Orleans Saints, for sure. And I'm just going to have to read this because having opinions about this can only get everyone into trouble and upset people. But apparently, in New Orleans right now, a lot of the church leaders there, Catholic priests, are getting there's a lot of issues going on with charges of, I want to read it right, so let me read this. Saints in the public relations campaign to mitigate fallout from the clergy sexual abuse crisis. That's how it's termed. Clergy sexual abuse crisis. Apparently this is going on in New Orleans. And apparently now the Associated Press has uncovered emails shedding a new light on the New Orleans Saints organization foray into trying to help cover up some of this stuff that's going on in New Orleans. Again, why did I bring this up? Now I'm stuck trying to explain it to you.
All I can think of right now.
It's very simple. There's an issue, and the Saints are way more involved than they ever wanted to be known to be involved. They tried to keep this very hush-hush.
I found the story very complicated.
What exactly
it is complicated,
are
and
they
that's
involved
why
in?
The Saints, apparently it had been known that they had provided some, quote, minimal assistance to the church to help defend a lot of the claims against the church. But the Associated Press now has obtained other emails that really don't back up those assurances of minimal assistance.
So a lot assisted.
A lot of assistance, apparently, from the Saints. And apparently the owner of the Saints, who is Gail Benson, is very much Catholic, according to the stories, and had interest in trying to protect the Catholic Church from the public relations nightmare that was ensuing.
Yes, I'm reading some of these.
It's really difficult to put all this out there without trying to keep out opinionated.
Am I right in saying that the
religion
Saints tried to suppress information about the Catholic Church?
I'll just read you one of the revealed moments, as it's called in the article. Saints executives were so involved in the church's damage control that a team spokesman briefed his boss on a 2018 call with the city's top prosecutors hours before the church released a list of clergymen accused of abuse. The call, the spokesman said, allowed us to take certain people off the list.
Anyway, that's just one. This is a tremendously long story.
Yeah.
If it interests you in any way, ESPN has it, and I'm sure other places. But
that to be funny. But
if you're the Saints, though, this is the last thing you want to be hooked up in. And evidently, the Gail Benson ownership has not gone well there.
Pelicans and
she
Saints.
also owns the Pelicans. Her husband, Tom Benson, passed on. She's now in charge, and this is just another kind of black eye for the New Orleans organization.
More, I would say, the person who probably is second guessing everything is the new coach that they just hired not that long ago, wasn't it?
They got a new coach?
I don't think they got one yet.
Maybe that's why they haven't got one.
That could be
Was it the GM they got?
I haven't heard of any hiring.
Well, maybe this is
I think
why.
everybody's jumping off the ship.
Maybe
potentially.
Maybe this is why.
Well, a lot of people said they weren't interested in the job.
The Jags, huh?
Yeah,
the Jags got it.
But Cliff Kingsbury, a lot of people said they didn't want to work
they
for
pulled
the
their
Saints.
names off of this. Now that I think about you, right?
Right. All right. Glad I brought it up. Yeah.
I knew that was going to be tough.
Yeah, I did too, but I decided to foray into it.
You want to talk
tell
about
people what's going on?
You want to talk about Justin Tucker now?
That might be easier
because we at least understand the story.
Well,
but he's now being accused by 10.
Yeah,
women.
more people.
The numbers
came out
going
over
up.
the weekend. Yeah.
At what point do the Ravens have to say something? They said they're looking into it, but
well, I think to be fair, they have to look into it before they can say anything.
I agree for sure.
They can't just immediately respond to the charges.
No, I agree
without
with
at
that.
least
Do you
delving
agree with
into
Yeah, but
it.
like, what if
week? I felt like last
you don't
week
sound like you agree with that. You sound like you just want him to
suspended,
flogged in a public, center.
I'm trying not to assume things until the real information comes out these days. It just is eerily familiar to what happened with Deshaun Watson.
I know. We got to be careful with the eerily familiar. We've seen these
that's
eerily.
why I'm not assuming.
So let's let the information come out. It doesn't look good. I will say that. He's got the numbers up to 10. It started out at what? 4 or 5?
If 4 more people come out, say,
no.
Do the Ravens have to be like, all right, now we're suspending him? Which doesn't make any sense because he's not playing anymore.
You're innocent.
I don't know that the Ravens have to come out, but the Cleveland Browns have to show interest in him immediately.
They're going to sign him. They're like, hey, Justin, we have a home for you over here.
Yeah,
We're also going to give you $200 million in fully guaranteed money.
Yeah. Shouldn't joke about these matters. I know that. All right. Off we go from this segment. How's the chat doing? Is everybody upset with me, or did I survive it?
No one's saying anything, actually.
Survived it.
You survived it.
Good. More from Saturday's Fan Fest when Gwynn and Chris continues.
Ben and Woods on the
It to be what was the word I used earlier?
Rational?
Rational. Very, very rational.
It was. It was. I mean, all the fans I talked to, they were concerned about Profar not being back. They were concerned about
for sure.
Not so much concerned about Kim. Sorry, buddy. Not many people were concerned about that, but
which is a surprise because I mean, Kim
he had his own chant.
Yeah.
Chris, are you just going to start randomly chanting Hassan Kim in the stadium to?
No. I never ran rapidly. When the Rays come to town, you mean, or
no? I just never mind.
That was Chris was never really in the crowd.
I thought he was like
wasn't.
a Hassan Kim chant guy.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
What?
My bad. My bad.
He definitely was.
Yes, I sit in the press box and I chanted Hassan Kim at the.
Chris had a lot of issues with his bass running, to say the least.
I did. I never chanted Hassan Kim.
No.
Okay. But I do think fans, regardless, were very excited because.
Why did you ask me that? I missed it.
I think I've made too many jokes today, and Chris is
I didn't. To be fair, I didn't know.
It seemed like it came out of left field.
I'm pretty sure at some point last year, Chris has chanted Hassan Kim before.
Chat, do y'all remember that? Because I don't remember that at all.
The chant?
Chat.
Oh,
do
the
y'all
chat.
Do y'all remember that? I don't remember that.
Because it didn't happen.
All right. Maybe I'm making that up in my head. I probably am.
You very well could.
Right.
NBA trade deadline. It's a couple days from now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
February 6th.
So we
got 2.5 days.
2.5 days.
You have 2.5 days to acquire yourself a big man.
We need a big man. Those anybody offering a big man out there, Lakers could use one.
I'm offering.
What you offering?
Vukovic. You don't want him.
Yeah, it's because you want Reeves for him. So I
do.
I don't think that's a fair trade.
Is Vukovic good?
He can play.
He's pretty good. I mean, he's at the end of his career, but he gets 15 and 10 almost automatically.
And he's some
usually
size.
A little more than that.
He's some size too. You just need somebody in there to at least
pretend
to contest a shot.
Now the Lakers, they don't have a center anymore. Is that
they have
true?
a center. They just don't have enough. They have one.
So how are they? I guess when's their next game?
Tuesday. Clippers tomorrow.
The Lakers are not positioned to win the title after this trade, but if they can get themselves a solid big man or two in there, I think they would be legit contender. It's funny, though, that the odds now have the Lakers as the third choice to win the West. Bettors have gone crazy at the acquisition of Luka Doncic, thinking the Lakers are now running away with it.
This is why bettors are terrible.
Are just not very smart, because the team that got really better at the moment is actually Dallas.
This is why bettors lose money consistently gambling, is because a trade like this happens. And if you know anything about basketball at all, you know that you kind of need a big man, somewhat of a big man, to have long-term success. The Lakers literally don't have one. And so, although you get Luka and LeBron on the same team, No way should they be their odds gone up to win a NBA championship versus the other way. So
this was a big deal because when I saw Chris texting on Saturday night, I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to try and get Tony, but I knew I couldn't.
He was trying to surprise me with
I was trying
news.
to surprise. I wanted you to pick up your phone and go, Luca, what does this mean? And then look it up. But you already
Chris,
knew.
Kyle on the chat says, did you guys talk or get Chris's opinion on Levine to the Kings? They're a Kings fan. They're asking.
Kings fan. Zach's we talked about it earlier. He's having a great year. I don't know that the Kings have what it takes, though, this year. I think they got DeRozan kind of too late.
Yeah, he said he's on the back end.
I think trading De'Aaron Fox and replacing basically with Levine, I don't see an equal trade there.
They only trade De'Aaron Fox because he hadn't shown a willingness to sign the extension.
Right.
So they wanted to
But
get
I think
something.
they lose something.
Yeah, no, they definitely lose something.
Yeah.
For sure. All right.
Can you say the name one more time? There are people asking about the biggest fan name.
Matt
Lowry.
Matt Lowry.
Not okay. Matt Lauer of NBC Morning Show.
Yeah.
Infamy.
I haven't heard from Matt since then. Yeah.
He disappeared after he
had that button that closed the door in his office. Step into my office, hit the button, and it's going to latch behind you.
Yeah, that's a little scary. Yes. Matt Lowry, 833-288-0973. All right, we heard from our guy Joe Musgrove this weekend. Here's your chance to hear.
From the 855, get
really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless, so, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in, certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you. Yeah. I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through. Yeah. What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned. Yeah. What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had Tommy John. Called guys that had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So
this is your first, correct?
My first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as educated on the process as possible, and now it's just putting the the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences, along with the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show. And
yeah, there we go.
You played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
Little locker room talk. It's all good, baby.
I told him, I told these folks, his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy, but
no,
anyway.
you're good by us down there. You're welcome
good.
whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
I think, first off, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a chance to kind of step back from, the constant mentality and approach of, like, being on edge and getting ready and prepared, and just the stresses that, any ball player deals with on the day-to-day of, like, mechanics feeling out of whack, or as spring gets closer, maybe you haven't hit the checkpoints that you want to hit, or things aren't, as consistent as you like it to be. So not having to deal with those stresses has been super nice. I've been able to focus on life a little bit, got engaged, got a new home, made some moves. So it's been really good. And I think, once I had the surgery, I knew what was ahead of me and, how long the road was. And, it took a little while to get to a good headspace, but I feel like I'm in a great spot now. And, I was saying earlier out on the stage, I'm not claiming to be Superman, but I really believe in my ability to heal and, my ability to, to push my body and get it ready. So I'm preparing and shooting for a return in the postseason at some point. And if, we're a month away from that and I realize it's a long shot, I'm completely fine with, sitting out and, preparing for 26. But I keep myself busy, man. I've really tried to be an extension of the coaching staff and, provide, assistance and help and, experience and, things that help these younger guys and, some of our guys that are transitioning to a starting role, help their careers grow. So, keep myself busy and keeping tasks, to have, at my fingertips, things to work on has been a good relief for me.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And, like, guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is, like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute. And a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I play with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
are they, man?
Especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan. And I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony, every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says, it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an offseason saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this guy and this guy, and not if we don't get this guy. So you look at our team, and a lot of people see all the moves being made and don't see us making moves, and it seems like a mismatch in the division. All these other teams are adding, but you look at our roster, I mean, we spent a lot of money over the last handful of years and committed a lot of guys to be here long term, and the value in having those guys return every year and continue to build that relationship and that growth is every bit as valuable as adding a new free agent. So
Love that.
I think with the progress we made last year, and you guys will never understand how we feel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it on the field and how we carry ourselves and, the camaraderie and stuff, but you'll never truly understand just how close that group got last year. And although we didn't, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series, we grew a ton as a team. We grew a ton as, a unit. And I'm super excited that we got most of these guys coming back. We got the whole staff coming back, and we can kind of pick up right where we left off.
Well, last one for me, because you kind of just hit on it, and I think it's so important. The continuity, right? This is, year maybe 3, 4 of this nucleus being together. How much of an impact can that have on a team, having guys who have been in the locker room together for so long?
Yeah, a ton. And, Schulte's big thing is shared experiences. We got guys from all over the league, some guys that are new and have experienced things that most rookies don't, and some guys that have been around 10-plus years that have, been in championship locker rooms and been around the best of the best. So sharing those experiences with each other and helping each other grow along the way, not just, providing, assistance and, coaching, but like sharing experiences and helping guys grow a little bit through, what you've been through is a big, big thing for us.
Joe Musgrove, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one we got here, man. Joe, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Pleasure, man.
Quick healings and enjoy the rest of your day,
sir.
man.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Joe Musgrove. Scraby was shook a little bit there when we had to bring up Joe calling in to terrorize him, basically.
Yes.
All-timer.
Had to relive that.
All-timer by Joe. After Scraby spurned all the players in the Padre clubhouse.
It was more because I was so filled with anxiety I couldn't talk to any of them. But yeah, Joe's a good dude. Very good dude.
He's good.
Good egg, as Mudcat would say.
By the way, Mud was wearing like a sunshade or one of those hats, they give away. And
the straw hat.
The straw hat.
Yes.
But he was in the shade. I don't know why he was wearing the straw hat in the shade.
Because he was rocking it.
Mudley has a unique style, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, he does have a unique style. He's great.
Uncle Mud.
Is that what you call him?
I'm going to start calling him that.
This was the biggest
Pulls
story.
his pants up high enough to be my uncle. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Pulls his pants up high enough. Oh, man.
Up this way.
No suspenders, just his waist.
I don't know the Mudcat will ever come on the show again after that.
Oh, he's coming on.
Biggest news of the day, never mind all the other stuff. The Washington Commanders are keeping their nickname.
Name and logo.
That's it, right there.
That's their name and logo?
No, the Commanders. They're not going back to ever going back to Redskins. They're not going back to anything else. There's been quite a bit of talk about it, but apparently not going to happen.
Did they realize that it would probably cost a lot of money to do all that?
Well, I don't know that it would cost enough money to make a difference to an NFL owner, but maybe the fact that they had some success under the name Commanders this year had something to do with it.
Oh, that could be true.
They're staying the Commanders. There you go.
That could be true.
I mean, with all due respect, and we're out of time, but Redskins no good, Chiefs fine.
And the tomahawk chop for the Chiefs is fine too.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy about all of
Totally.
that.
Totally.
Scraby Chronicles up next.
I'm going to tell you why Yu Darvish needs an apology from Roki Sasaki.
You guys have fun with that. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.